The game plays right here.
Are you ready for some football?
Your sports leader, WOHS Shelby, WLON Lincoln, and WCSL Cherryville Gastonia.
Yeah, I'm on that Shot Joxx podcast about to ball like Steve Nash and then go to the NFL and not look at no-name teams like Washington because I stay getting wins while I'm riding around in brand new Benz.
Welcome to the Shot Joxx Sports Podcast. No-name teams over in Washington. What do you think about that, Mr. Yancey? Hey, you get in here in just a minute.
I don't like
it. Good afternoon, everybody. Kevin Hastings here with our crooked camera. Hunter's getting cousin Zach set up on the World Wide Web so he can give you his facts and information. Tanner Halbert's here. Packed house. Fun day today. Excited. Haven't talked Zach about or since the Super Bowl, so we're going to get his thoughts on that. Guys, y'all know what this week is, don't you? Race week. Daytona weeks. 500 is Sunday. We're going to talk about that, break it down. You know, Hunter, I'm going to have to squeeze in some other types of racing this year now that Jimmy Johnson has moved on to other types of racing. So I'm definitely going to have to mention Jimmy wherever he's at. They had some had a race last night. We're going to get to talk about that. There's a bunch of stuff going on in the NBA. Kind of touch on some of that. Hey, your football team signed him a quarterback.
Yeah. Just an extension.
The hero. Right? The hero.
I mean, I can't say much about it. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I mean, he played good.
He's not there to be the starter.
Yeah, it's obviously. He only got 2 years. Usually when people sign 2-year contracts, it's for like $15, $20 million. He only got $8 million. But
yeah, that's more than Cam got.
I know, but hey,
Jameis.
But hey, I won't say.
What all of them got?
I'm not gonna say bad on him though. Hey, he got his bag.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Hey, you got paid, dude.
Zach,
Great.
Hunter, would you take $4 million to be a third-string
Oh,
quarterback?
God, yes. I'd take $4 million at my size to be an offensive lineman and just let someone beat the shit out of me all day, knowing that I'm going to get paid later that afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. I don't care.
Well, go ahead, Zach.
I'm trying to think of the guy's name that was the career backup that, we talk about him all the time. I can see it's...
What, Josh McCown?
No,
Chase Daniel.
Chase Daniels.
He once getting $10 million a year. Ain't played.
Josh McCown is the journeyman that he gets to kind of start.
Well, it's the same thing. Yeah, sometimes.
But Chase Daniels, he is the career backup, but he's making bank.
I was fine with them signing Heineke. You know, he proved a lot to me in that game against Tampa Bay. I saw a fun tweet about, what is it? It's the QBR, quarterback rating system, or however they do it. And he had the best QBR of the playoffs against Tampa Bay. He was at least in the 90s. The other quarterbacks that played against Tampa Bay were all low to eventually Patrick Mahomes as being like 15. So I'm fine with it. You know, to me, it still doesn't mean we won't try and get a free agent quarterback. I think we still do. But it's better to know that if we don't, I think that the organization and at least Ron Rivera and everybody in the front office are like, okay, we'll be fine if we roll with Heineke for this year. And I'm fine with it. You know what? I'm fine with it.
Now, Hunter, you know they ain't going to do that. There's too many guys available. You're going to end up with a starter.
I know.
They're going to sign Cam.
No. The one that's being tossed around right now is Dak Prescott.
I saw that for the Panthers.
I saw that as somebody that
I would take him.
I saw that as someone that said it would be the perfect spot.
I don't.
But
think
everybody is reading into Dak Prescott just recently followed the Washington football team's Instagram this week.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I mean, you play for the Dallas Cowboys. I don't
how
know.
much did Brady make this year? Does anybody know off the top of their heads?
No,
without me looking
probably
it up?
in the 20s.
That's fine. Look it up.
Probably in the 20s. Because it was only a 2-year deal.
I'm gonna say you got 30.
Maybe
I 2 years
really,
50. I'm thinking it was 2 years 50.
Maybe if that's the case, it was about $25 million.
No.
What did he get? Did he get the bag?
Nope.
What did he get? $10 million this year?
A little bit higher.
15. Okay.
$15
He
million.
wants some championships. He wants
Again,
players.
if you're a GM or coach and your quarterback, not named Patrick Mahomes, asks for $40 million, and you can say, I can win 7 for 15.
Mm-hmm. What's his contract hit next year? Does it go? It probably goes up.
It probably don't go dramatically.
No, if anything, he'd probably be in the
18.
20s.
Yeah.
Well, Mike Evans has already started saying he's going to take a pay cut to sign people. Adrian Peterson says call him right now. He wants in.
Well, Adrian Peterson wants a ring.
2-year, $50 million. $50 million.
That's what I thought it
Okay,
was.
so next year it goes up pretty drastically from 15.
It's what?
He had a base
30?
All right,
Probably 35.
no,
yeah.
it didn't go up. No,
It
it's
don't.
25-25.
Okay.
The base was 15.
Incentive based.
If he made the team, he got 10 million.
Oh, wow. How nice. How nice.
Like, how do you word that? Like, you know what? We might cut you in 2
Go get
weeks.
Tom Brady today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Guys, we brought him in.
But
we're
$25
gonna
million
cut it.
still, it's not in the 30s.
No, it's
So-
reasonably priced.
Again,
I'm down today, boys.
Is it power?
No, it's internet.
That's
I'll
not
use my
connecting.
phone.
Give him that one. If you're not using it. We've got, Zach, we got 50 computers in
Might
this
have
place.
to plug it in.
Yeah, that one might need
Might
plugging.
need to charge it, but
All right, so if Brady's at 25 million, right,
and use this. Yeah.
and say Dak wants 40, doesn't Zeke get paid $15 million?
Yes.
And-
14 or 15.
So basically, you can get Brady and a starting one of the
Running
top
back.
5 paid NFL running backs, or I can have Dak Prescott.
Fun stat. I think I heard. Who was I listening to? Oh yeah, I was listening to Pardon My Take from Barstool when they were talking about. Oh, fun stats, and it's more of a fun tidbit because it's not a fun stat. It's like within the starting running backs, I think from the past 8 Super Bowls, the highest salary has been $2.5 million or
Yeah.
$2.8 million. Like the running backs don't make a ton of money that are winning these Super Bowls.
One of these days, Hunter, it's my dream that the pundits and people on television will stop talking about the quarterbacks and running backs and talk about the defenses.
But it doesn't happen.
50 of 55 Super Bowls have been won by top 12 defense. We talked about the quarterbacks the other day. Only one first round. How many first rounders has won a Super Bowl in the last 10 years that were drafted in the last 10
it was
years?
2.
I mean, and Russell was Russell.
No, Russell
He
Wilson
might
was
have
a
3.
3rd round pick. So is it only Patrick? There's no way it was just Patrick Mahomes in the last 10 years.
That's been drafted in the last 10 years.
Oh, I was thinking 2000. When did he come out?
First round and drafted. He won a Super Bowl in 2010.
Okay, I was thinking.
Breeze was 09, and then Brady's won how many in this span? Peyton won, Eli won 2. Like, it's not like there's no Patrick Mahomes and Russell are the only ones under 30 pretty much. Well, the other guys did in their lates, but I'm talking about young guys. Like, you have to draft a quarterback and hope he's one of the top guys in the next 10 years.
Jared Goff made a Super Bowl as a first round draft
Got
pick and
traded.
got traded.
Jimmy
Still
Garoppolo
can't.
made a Super Bowl.
Wasn't even a first round draft
Got
pick.
traded. Carson Wentz led his team to the Super Bowl for the most part. Is getting traded. Mitchell Trubisky.
I'm
did
looking
not
forward
lead-
to that, seeing what happens with that this week too.
Who,
Mitchell
Mitchell?
Trubisky's got a better record than
Winning
Deshaun
record.
Watson. in the same draft, but everybody will say Watson's a superstar and Mitchell's garbage. That's the same thing as if you ask somebody now, is Lamar Jackson better than Joe Flacco? Most people say yes. Joe Flacco's got 10 playoff wins. Lamar's got 1. Lamar Jackson has 1 playoff win. That's what I was thinking about a minute ago. How many's Josh Allen got? Did he get 2? Has he got 2 now?
Got 2 this year.
He got 2 this year, and did he win 1 last year? No,
they got beat.
They made it, but they lost to Houston.
All right, so
That was in a shootout,
so
though.
a lot of these guys don't have it. Dak Prescott, 1 playoff win. Cam hadn't won a playoff game since they made the Super Bowl.
2015. And how many did he win? He won, obviously, 3
He's won
that
3
year,
in his career.
and that was that season.
Yeah,
No,
they won 2
They
that
won
year.
2 that year, and then
and
he won
won
1
the
prior.
year before against a Arizona Cardinals team
backup
against their
quarterback.
3rd-string quarterback in the
Yes.
playoffs.
Yes.
After making it with a losing record. So he hasn't won in 5 years. Hunter, everybody's looking at Mahomes. Zach, we talked the other day about what the Chiefs' weaknesses are. To me, defenses obviously, but they don't have a Dez Bryant, Keyshawn. They don't have a Keyshawn Johnson.
Guys.
Like if they had a Keyshawn to throw to and get those first downs, everything is
they got a Kelsey.
Yeah, but does their offense, to me, it looks like it's almost a backyard football.
Oh, it's gadget plays.
It's a flag football offense, to where if Mahomes not taking 3-4 step drops and slinging it, he's taking 2 or 3, waiting for one of the guys to get open and then moving.
Yeah, and he's got enough athletic ability. He can
Right,
roll.
they're doing fantastic.
And they might have got a blueprint against him this past weekend, possibly, because he got. I mean, that was nasty.
Yeah.
Absolutely nasty.
And we talked last weekend that you don't got your 2 tackles, and your quarterback's limping against the number 1 blitz team in the NFL. Whether or not Mahomes plays good or not, he's going to have trouble just with that, right? So, looking at these quarterbacks, we got mock drafts galore all around the place. Zach, we were looking back at some the other day. You would have liked this one. I went back and looked at Marino's draft, the '83 draft. He was the 6th quarterback pick.
He was like 25th or 26th.
27th, yeah. 6th quarterback pick in that draft.
Elway was the biggie.
Right. He was 1.
That's who everybody wanted.
All right, so I'll ask you, considering Jim Kelly was drafted in the same draft class as Marino and made 4 Super Bowls to 1, is there an argument we need to start putting Kelly in front of Marino? Now, the other day I told Hunter, I said, quarterback-wise, ain't nobody in the world going to say, hey, I'd rather have Kelly or Marino. But when we do this, we're talking accomplishments and stuff, a lot of this. My thing with them, though, to me, the Bills had way more better players.
That's the thing I was thinking in my head.
Especially
when you
on the
brought Kelly
defense.
up. Now, and let's make a fair argument. Marino is heads over heels better than Jim Kelly, I think, talent-wise. But if you look up here on the list, Aikman is one. He's probably my favorite quarterback of all time. If you put Jim Kelly in with them, he might have the championships that Aikman got, and then he'd be on the list.
Him and Aikman are very similar.
I think so too.
In throwing, you're right. The Elway. Think about this. So Elway went 1, made 5 Super Bowls. Kelly went 2. Well, I mean not 2, but he was the second quarterback. He made 4. So there's 9 Super Bowls. Tony Eason was in that draft ahead of Marino.
He was supposed to be a biggie.
Right. So Marino beat. Remember. So what was weird about all that, and we'll talk about Belichick in a second.
Eason was a Patriot, I believe.
Right. Eason was with the Patriots. The '85 Bears. Who beat them, Zach?
The Miami Dolphins.
Okay. The Dolphins got beat in the playoffs by the Patriots and Tony Eason. So Marino, in that draft, obviously got beat 10 times by Elway, Kelly, and Tony Eason in his own draft in the playoffs. How do you quantify that? Like if he was playing today, we would be ripping him to shreds. I mean, you lost 10 times to guys in your draft in the playoffs, at least. And Eason and them got to play the Bears and got smoked. So I was kind of tying that. We talked about it the other day. Belichick, do you know his playoffs success? In 7 seasons, without Tom Brady, 1 playoff win.
Yeah, he was a Cleveland.
You know who they beat?
Dude, and
In 94?
It was.
See if you can guess this. This is the irony of all ironies. Bill Belichick's only playoff win, not with Tom Brady. The New England Patriots. Drew Bledsoe. 1994. Think about that. Belichick's
Who was coaching them then? Was it
Parcells.
Was Parcells then, or was it before Parcells?
Was it Pete Carroll? Pete Carroll was before Parcells for a year, wasn't he? Wasn't he there for 1 or 2 years?
Yeah, it might be Pete Carroll.
I can look up the game, but I just thought you would think that's pretty interesting how, like, Marino, his circle of everything circled around and lost everybody that's in his division. They got 2 out of 10 Super Bowls.
When you look at Bledsoe, you bring him up. What was he drafted? Very, very high.
I think he was first.
Yeah, I think he was too. And he didn't win anything with them. You put Brady in, and Brady's got that mindset.
So Belichick made 17 of 18 playoffs of Brady.
It's ridiculous.
17 of 18 playoffs.
The division was horrible.
But then again, once if you only got one playoff win ever in any situation without Brady, and all your playoff wins are with him, is it time to maybe not have Belichick as the best coach?
They made an argument on the thing the other day, and they was everybody saying it was Brady, but they said there's a lot of times where you talking about that defense, top 10 defense that Belichick brung in there with him. Got to have both. It's both. You just got to have a perfect storm, and they had it for a long time. Bucks had it this year. That was Nasty D. And then,
but are we putting Bill Walsh ahead of Belichick now? Are we switching them back?
Nah.
You don't think so? Or Chuck Noll? Belichick has one playoff win, Zach, with someone not named Tom Brady. What do you think, Hunter? Chuck Noll's 4-0. Bill Walsh is 4-0. In Super Bowls.
I'm fine still giving Bill Belichick the nod. Maybe he won't be as high.
I'm saying, is he one?
Is he one?
That's what we're arguing.
Yeah, he's one. To me, he's one. Because at the same time, I understand that obviously having a great quarterback
If
helps.
Cam Newton was his quarterback the past 20 years,
probably not. But they still have a great defense.
would they have one championship, and would he be the greatest coach ever?
But yeah, but I can't fault Bill Belichick because Tom Brady turned out to be what he was. Don't forget he drafted him in the 6th round.
They were talking about
that's just the luckiest pan out there ever has been probably in sports.
They was talking
that
about
you got a guy that late and he panned out.
Coaches. It was doing a very similar thing on ESPN the other day, or Skip and Shannon. They was talking about it was actually ESPN, and they said they brought up Phil Jackson's name. They said Phil Jackson's probably considered the greatest coach in the NBA. He's arguably. And they said, well, he had Michael and he had
Kobe
and he had Shaq. So
he's also got 11 titles.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So he won everywhere he went, though.
Right.
He won when he played. He won coaching in South America.
I'm glad you brought up Phil Jackson. So let's compare them. What Belichick's career though is like, he's like Phil, Zach. Let's say he's like Phil, but he only won one playoff game without Brady. This would be like Phil Jackson coaching the 85 Bulls before Jordan got there, and on his whole career he had one playoff victory, or the Hornets, and he was the coach of them. What if Phil Jackson was the coach of the Hornets? They won that one playoff round, the only thing they've ever won. Then he joins the Bulls, and he wins 6 straight. That's pretty much the Belichick thing. Is you were garbage everywhere else. As soon as Tom leaves, he wins. You miss the playoffs. God, man, there's a lot of...
Yeah, but you could look at that around the league and say, I don't know many teams where if you have a star quarterback, though, and he just leaves, you're going to be great. Like, sometimes you're going to tread water for a little while trying to get... Because...
But
I think we can all sit here and say, once you have that position figured out, that's the most important position in football.
My point is, if it's Belichick...
They still had a good defense this
year.
Yeah,
they were top 10.
Yeah, that was my question.
They were still top 10.
The offensive guy, they probably would have been there. They just didn't have it.
They probably could have competed. Like, think about it. Are we saying that they're having a similar season next year if they were the ones that went out and traded for Matt Stafford?
Are we saying he's going to turn into the Cleveland Browns of the 90s?
Well, neither one of those two are an MVP.
True. Like, are we saying
he replaced Brady with an MVP and got worse? A younger MVP. Faster.
Yeah, but
better arm.
No.
He does got a better arm. Cam's got a fantastic arm. He
don't know where
he's throwing. Yeah, strength-wise.
Okay, we're talking about strength. I'm just talking, if you're just talking what he can do with his arm.
You know what I mean by better arm?
Yeah,
he's
know where he's
strength. Arm strength. Is it, though?
He got a clue where it's going. Yeah,
is it after The surgery?
He can throw it the best.
I would like to see him throw a deep ball just to see the zip on the deep ball.
You talking about
But let's say
Cam?
before it, I absolutely. I think Cam had one of the best, strongest arms I may have ever seen. Again, he just don't know where the fuck it's going.
He's the perfect person.
Dude, seriously, Josh Allen's got the strongest arm I've ever seen.
He's the perfect person to stand in the end zone and throw it out of the stadium because it goes straight up.
He probably could.
I don't know.
With that little sidearm loop.
I know this is the one year, obviously, that people are that they have the great opportunity to nitpick Bill Belichick. But in these past 20 plus years, I can't take away what he's been able to do, even if it was Brady there, because that's the whole. What if he never drafted
I'm
Brady?
not taking him away. I'm saying
it's not as.
Can you look at it as saying, let's say if Brady didn't win, if Brady missed the playoffs this year, and Belichick made the playoffs, we'd all be saying
it's Belichick's system,
right? So. Again, I'm not saying he's not a good coach or he's not one of the best ever. I'm saying, can we call him number one when you've only ever won a playoff game in Cleveland one time? And it was against the quarterback you benched 5 years later.
And they've had a lot of people come out and say that people didn't want to go play for Belichick. They want to go play for Brady.
Matt Stafford that came out that he said, trade me anywhere except New England.
Bad.
I mean, has anybody asked to be traded to the Patriots yet?
No.
All these quarterbacks?
No.
None of them have. And... it's a decent situation, I would say.
Listen, if you are fine with going up there and winning, absolutely. But you also have to remember, a lot of these guys still play for the love of the game. That's what they'll say. Do they really want to go up there and be miserable? Because they can't be themselves. They have to conform to the system. And that's where I think in today's football, I think the Patriot way is on its way out. I really do. I really do, because you've got...
He's 70 years old.
Well, not only that, but like whoever takes over next, if they try to be... Because you see, when Matt Patricia went to Detroit,
All
he
of
tried...
those people.
Everybody
Cromell,
hated him.
Charlie Weiss.
They all tried to be Belichick.
There's
and
not been a
implement that
single
system.
successful Belichick.
And it's
Vrabel's
because...
done decent.
But I don't know if he's been
And I don't know
like
Vrabel
Belichick.
considered, because he was a player.
He was a player.
That's
That's
what that's what I was about to say, is that he at least has the playing ability or playing, not ability, but pass to
Right.
translate some of that.
It's just tough for that Patriot way we've seen. Even Bill O'Brien, when he went to the Texans, sure, they had a little bit of success, but I don't think he tried to implement the Patriot way like when Matt Patricia was with the Lions. Like, they said that was like his goal, was to try and be the NFC Patriots,
Right.
and the players hated it.
All right, I'm going to read some headlines. If you want to make a comment, you can. I just want to go through them, and then and then I want to kind of talk a little bit about drafting and other future
Yes.
quarterbacks before we get through, before we move on today and talk Daytona 500, Super Bowl, and other things. I tell you what, Zach, let's back up just a second. Super Bowl comments. I know.
Excuse me. Sorry.
We did a lot Monday, and we're going to talk Saturday. I did want to hear if you had any thoughts, comments on any of the. You can do production of the show, anything.
I didn't get a chance to watch it until about 12 minutes left in the third quarter because I was working.
Mm-hmm.
But I was keeping up with it on my phone, and what I noticed on the phone, I didn't get to watch the first quarter, but Mahomes didn't have like 20 yards.
Yeah,
I mean, they just completely shut them down and shut Tyreek Hill down. The defense was great for them. Brady was great in the first half for the Bucs. I mean, he wasn't like superb in the second half, but he was great in the first half. He had 3 touchdown passes.
who should have been the MVP of the game?
The defense.
All right,
But I know they give it to Brady, and I probably would have voted to give it to him too, just because that's what they want.
I would have had Brady third through fifth.
The running back Fournette was a beast.
He was decent.
He had about 130.
Number one, and Andre agreed with me. I asked him. He even said his name. I said, "Who's the MVP?" He said Devin White.
I said Devin White.
I had him a one or two, because I think you make the argument for Gronk really being the MVP.
He stepped up a lot.
He scored the first 2 touchdowns,
did.
and that won the game, didn't it? And then you can look at Brady's if you really want to do the math. Take away his 3 touchdowns, they still win 10-9.
And they got stopped on the one.
Right.
I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been. They dogged them. This was we took you out in the backyard and whooped your butt. And again, I'm glad Andy Reid got him one last year, but is his system sustainable over a long time? You got to have the super playmakers.
I put a lot of it at his feet.
I do too.
I put a lot of it at Andy Reid and Bieniemy's feet because it was their inability to me when they go into halftime and come out to make adjustments. They did the same exact thing. Yep. I said this Monday. I don't know if you got to see it because it was after halftime. The best play they really had all day was a handoff to Edwards-Helaire, and he ran for almost 20, 30 yards. Yeah. I was like, that's the best offensive play I've seen all day. Mahomes obviously wasn't scrambling around.
He was running for his life. He wasn't scrambling like he normally does, but he was running backwards. Straight backwards. And the Tampa defense was fast.
I got to give him a lot of credit, though. After what I've read the past few days about how he's getting surgery done, not only on turf toe, but apparently a one of his plantar plates in his foot, and he was out there running. You're right, running for his life. I have to give him credit for that. He's a warrior.
And here's what drives me completely insane: it's the same thing with the LeBron debates and all this other stuff. Everybody from this young generation wants to put somebody as the GOAT. And Mahomes is good. He's the best quarterback in the league right now. But I sent it to him. I don't know if he got a chance to watch it, but he looked like a fainting goat to me the other day. He's not the GOAT. He might be one day, but what I was getting to, you were talking about the injuries. And injuries can derail a career faster than we all know. I don't want him to get injured, but that's a long sustainability of what Tom Brady's done.
It's like
100%.
It's like Terry sitting over and saying Kyle Busch is better than Jimmy Johnson. Mm-hmm. And he's
Kyle's got like 150 wins.
He's got one title. It's like 7.
Right. Who said this?
Terry Reinhardt. Who's Kyle?
Terry.
He's a big Kyle Busch.
He's the one that said he had like 150 wins.
Yeah, he's the one that counts the minor league wins.
I'm a Kyle Busch fan.
But that would be like saying he's Kyle's the GOAT and Jimmy's not. That's what we're arguing here as far as Mahomes versus Brady. But look, Brady beat him in the championship. His defense curb stomped Mahomes.
Brady beat him at 43 years old.
And this is what we're trying to see. Yeah, exactly. So if Mahomes whatever Mahomes' career ends, it's going to say he lost to a 43-year-old quarterback. So let's say he goes 7-1. What's that one? You lost to the other guy with 7. So he needs to win 8 just to get by him. But that one negative back to 7. So to me, he's got to go 9-1 to pass Tom Brady.
You talk about that. Everybody's seen the statistics. Tom Brady's got more Super Bowl wins than the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Every franchise.
There's nobody.
Every franchise.
And are you going to say, okay, Mahomes? Yeah, he's the GOAT. He's going to top him. There ain't no way.
So he's been to 10 Super Bowls?
Yeah.
Is that right?
10, 7 and 3.
7-3.
Sick. He's 70%.
But LeBron fans will say that's the 7-3 is the same thing as 4-6 because it's 2020. And that's how the math works.
And he didn't blow. This is the only blowout win he had. The rest of them were full points.
The last one was his biggest blowout. He won 13. He only scored 13 points.
Yeah, 13-3, wasn't it?
His biggest blowout. Yeah, his 2 biggest blowouts in Super Bowls was the only overtime win in Super Bowl history by 6, and he won by 10 when his team only scored 13 points. Like he should have won that Super Bowl. You got 13 points. If he'd have scored 13 this year, he'd have won still.
Yeah.
He's had 2 Super Bowls at least.
Where he could have had stinkers and still won.
His team gave up less than 10 points.
And that goes back to, I was bringing my point about Belichick. He does set the defense up for him.
All right, Zach. Considering in round 1, Brady was 190. In round 2, he was like 2-something with 3 picks. In round 3, in the Super Bowl, he had 200 yards?
3 touchdowns.
Now, he didn't throw a pick, but with those numbers, I'm going to put it this way, and someone down the hall got mad at me when I did. Could Brad Johnson not have won the Super Bowl?
Possible. It's possible.
I mean, he scored more than 10 in his Super Bowl. Brady didn't play outstanding, did he? Are those not average numbers?
Yeah, what is Brady averaging on the year? 240?
Brad would have won the Super Bowl.
This is the difference. He has that innate ability to make people want to play.
Tom? Yeah, well, we just said it. People are calling up to play with him. Not only that, I mean,
So I don't know if Brad could have won it because
think
of
about
that.
it.
That's the only reason- that's the only argument.
Guys want to play with talent. That's what they want to do.
And he
they
brings-
don't want to go somewhere where they're not going to have talent around them to win.
Let's just say-
That's why I'm surprised more people don't force their way out, but they really can't because if they're third, fourth stringer, they just get cut. Like if you want to win, especially the old guys, like you said, Adrian Peterson's already called him up. If you want to win, you're going to try and your hardest to go and play with the most talented guy in the league.
And how much confidence does that give them? Let's just say you use high school football as an example. You're walking out there with the Shelby Golden Lions. You know, you're confident way more than if you're walking out with somebody else. You know,
Right.
And I'll just use, I won't throw nobody under the bus. Another team close to them, it's very good, but it's not them. You know, you might not be as confident. And they walking out with Brady, they just got this chip on their shoulder, like we're walking out with the man. You know, and maybe I'm wrong about that.
He himself brings confidence. I read the report a few days ago, after the Super Bowl, that the whole week leading up to the Super Bowl, he would text his teammates, "We're gonna win.
Yep.
We're gonna win." He's putting that in the back of your mind, reminding you, "Hey, they're counting us out. They shouldn't count us out. We're gonna win." And I can appreciate that. But another thing, when I'm telling you, like, guys want to play with successful guys, with talented guys. Tom Brady's not the only one that's getting phone calls saying they want to come play with him in Tampa. Now that L.A. brought Matt Stafford in, there's been reports players are calling to come and want to play in L.A. Why? Sean McVay is there, and they got a more stable, probably quarterback, probably a better talented quarterback at Matt Stafford. So that guys that are, let me put it this way, if they're right on the cusp of maybe ending their career, but they still got some juice in the tank and they need a Super Bowl, that's what they're going to do. I believe those will be the two teams that a lot of players will flock to that are on their last legs trying to get a Super Bowl. Seriously. Either Tampa Bay or L.A. And they're both in the same conference, the NFC, so they might meet each other.
All right, Tanner, you're ever being quiet, but you're doing a good job holding that microphone still. All right. Would you rather be 75 and 63
I like this.
with no Super Bowls and an MVP, or 75 and 55 with no MVPs and a Super Bowl?
So how did you word the first one?
First guy is 75 and 63, MVP, no Super Bowl.
Okay.
The next guy is 75, same exact number of wins, 55, 8 less losses, no MVPs, and got the blank.
At a Super Bowl. I'd rather have that.
I'd rather have the Super
I
Bowl.
want the Super Bowl.
Brad Johnson is the second guy. First guy is Cam Newton. Brad Johnson, who everybody says is garbage, has a better winning record and a Super Bowl. Super Bowl year, Zach, he was 10-3, 22 touchdowns, 6 picks, 65% completion percentage.
I'm going for Brad Johnson because I hate Cam Newton.
Oh, there you go. There's Tanner. Brad actually led the league in pass attempts the year after the Super Bowl. That's weird. 570.
I think they did tank.
He led the
They were
league.
horrible.
He led the league in 2 years. In this is the only things he ever led the league in was interception percentage at 1.3, which is the lowest. What I mean by that, not the most. And game winning drives, he had 5 one year.
You know, there's a certain team out there that a certain player needs to send maybe a couple $1,000 to just as a thank you note, and that's Leonard Fournette sending that money over to Jacksonville saying, "Thank you for tanking because I was able to go and get a Super Bowl out of it this year."
Well,
Letting me go.
they're happy that he allowed them to trade him.
No, they just released him.
Oh, did they? Were
Yeah,
they
he was
happy?
assigned. He was assigned.
Allowed
They didn't
him
trade him
to
to
release
Tampa
him.
Bay. They signed him.
Yeah, that's not your name.
Nah, Andre, this ain't the time. This ain't the time, Andre.
Do you remember
Tanner.
the time?
Where goes cameras, Tanner?
This ain't the time.
So
It's a song we previewed before you got here.
I'm doing the.
Do you remember the time?
Yeah, we did. We just did it.
He said it wasn't the time. I just said, do you remember?
No, Andre came in here yesterday wanting to talk about Super Bowl while they were doing a reaction
I
video.
text Andre
and
and
I
I
said, Andre, this is not the time.
I text Andre. I said, please give Hunter crap because I know you're dying too. He said, you're the only one that's giving me props, man. You only give me props.
Listen, it is what it is.
The defense was
fine.
nasty, though. I agree.
All right, here's let's mock draft a little bit. Hunter, pull it.
I missed the
Hunter,
picks
pull
from
this
Saturday
one
too,
up.
by the way.
Do what?
I missed the picks from
Go
Saturday
to,
to who picked for the
Internet,
Super Bowl.
Kevin. All right, that's fine. Just do the one above it without cameras. We'll go with that.
There we go.
That'll be fine. All right, here's a.
I wish we were sponsored by that up top. Look at that.
You want
God, I
some
wish I
Reese's
had. That sounds so good.
I like them cold.
I know what you mean. They're
like
actually
either.
pretty good that way.
I just don't like the things that melt in
Melt
my
in it.
hands.
Okay, I got
like.
you.
I'm gonna go
So-
do a Reese's jingle, and then we may get sponsored.
So Hershey,
There you go.
a Hershey regular bar,
Yeah.
cold, is good. But you know what you can't do cold? Snickers.
No,
You'll break your
your teeth. The nuts freeze too. You'll break your teeth. The caramel.
You can't do
it.
Snickers and
You
caramel.
used to be able to get.
Can't do Twix either.
No, you can't.
Can't do
you used to be
Twix.
able to get like those Snickers ice cream bars in like high school or something, and I'd bite into it and I'd
just-
want to break my tooth.
You just gnaw on them.
You kind of just are like, you almost want, or like, you put it in your pocket and you're like, I'll eat it later when it's not frozen. just let it warm up.
Peanut
a little
butter Girl Scout cookies are good frozen too.
Yeah.
bit. So are Thin Mints.
Okay.
Oh,
I
love
like thin
frozen
mints.
Thin
Period. I
Mints.
like mint anyway.
Well, yesterday Todd McShay says he's convinced Zach Wilson is going to.
To the Jets.
He didn't say who.
Oh, okay.
He's going to.
He thinks it might. Okay.
Somebody's going to trade, or the Jets will take.
Well,
him too.
I've also read reports Washington is not in talks about Carson Wentz, but if Sam Darnold becomes available with the Jets, they would be possibly interested in making conversations of acquiring him in some fashion. So you're right. It might be the Jets, or they might trade it. I don't know.
Here's what I want to know about some of these teams. Because, all right, guys. I mean, we literally have how many quarterbacks are available?
Available?
Let's go. Cam, Sam Darnold, Dak.
What do you mean available?
Possibly
like
available.
free agents? Or are you talking about
Just-
we'll trade them?
Anyway.
Somebody that ain't stable.
Right. So this is what I'm saying. Like, so Washington, if you're sitting there in Washington and you're in your room, there's four of us sitting here talking about what we're going to do at quarterback.
Right.
Well, I'm about to give you the list of your options of people that are available. And this is just insane, like how many people could be available. If you really wanted Fitzpatrick, I'm sure you could get him.
Right.
Cam Newton, Sam Darnold, Dak Prescott, Carson Wentz, anybody in Washington.
I think Minnesota would want to move off of Kirk Cousins' contract because
Okay.
there was the conversations about San Francisco possibly being interested.
I think the AFC North set still for another year at least with Big Ben and Baker
I
based
think
on
they
the
will.
contracts.
I think they will.
And situations. Foles could be available. Trubisky could be available. So that's where it's 6 now.
What if there's a straight up trade Foles back to Philadelphia for Carson Wentz?
Is Aaron Rodgers available? Is Kirk Cousins?
Is Russell Wilson?
They mentioned it.
I ain't
the
got
other
to there
day.
yet.
Okay.
Jameis Winston.
James is a free agent. Yeah.
Gardner Minshew. Jacoby Brissett. Maybe Deshaun Watson.
Brissett was still with
Drew
Indiana-
Lock.
Indianapolis.
Marcus
Yeah.
Mariota.
I think he's a free
Derek
agent. though.
Carr. Garoppolo and Russell Wilson. 17 possible quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
So you're Washington. You're a Washington fan. You have to sit in a room.
Mm-hmm.
Do you just sit there and be like, well, how do you approach it? Do you wait and see if any dominoes fall?
Well, I'll tell you what
Is there
I would
anybody
do.
you don't? Well, hold on. And
Uh-huh.
then the final question is, do you make the move to go get who you want and give up everything you need to get that one guy, or are you sitting and watching? And then we just had 17 pros. It's not counting the 5
Yeah,
that are projected in the first damn
round.
round of the draft.
Mm-hmm.
So you got 20 quarterbacks possibly that could be available.
And see, that's what I keep saying about.
So y'all
how-
do something.
And see,
I don't
that's
know
what, and that's what I'm telling you. Whenever
have no
I keep-
idea what.
whenever people bring up Cam Newton, I'm like, there's almost no market for him because look at how many
There ain't
people
no
are
market.
available, and the 5 that could go in the first round. Now it's like, really.
He can go to New Orleans to be the backup.
I mean, think about it. If there are only 5 teams that really need a quarterback, but there are possible 17 available, like there's an opportunity some people aren't going to get called. If I was Washington and I was in Washington's front office, I'm the guy that makes all the personnel decisions. I would inquire about all of the ones that would require me to have a trade. If you're even whispering about a quarterback might be available, but I have to trade for him, I'm inquiring about every single one of them, and here's why. Washington is a quarterback away from being a very good playoff team. That's what it is. So if you can get that solidified, and think about it. I think it's crazy that the report is they didn't even call and ask about Carson Wentz. He's below 25, and sure, he's got a huge contract with him.
Would send him there.
We've already done business with them with Donovan.
Donovan was
I don't
long in the tooth.
Regardless, I would just call and see what they want.
Donovan looked like he had been eating a chunky soup by the time.
That's why they gave him that sponsorship. Regardless, if you're one of those teams like Carolina has made a lot of noise about they're openly looking to move off of Teddy for a quarterback. If you're a team that thinks you're a quarterback away, I'm contacting everybody that is a trade partner and saying and just getting information. What do you want for it? What's your bottom dollar that you want for this? Or what? Or like what do you think it's worth? I'll tell you what I'll give you, and you just let me know. You don't have to do anything that day. You can maybe feel out every other team and see which one's going to give you a better deal. But the ones that you really want that are trade partners, you got to just feel them out first. Because you know if you're one of the 5 teams that need a quarterback, the other 4 teams are going to do the same exact thing. You got to be proactive. You have to be actively trying to get that quarterback. But if you're just trying to sign a free agent, I just bring him in willy-nilly just whenever and say, look, would you like to play for us, yes or no? If the answer is yes, this is what we'll give you. Take it to your camp, see if that's something you would like, and then come back to us. It's almost like, say there's a list, and you got to follow that checklist. First checklist I would do is I would check out all the teams that want to trade their quarterback. Mm-hmm. Second checklist, I'm checking out all the free agents. And if neither one of those 2 checklists go through and I get the quarterback that I really want, then I'm going to the draft. If I like one. If not, if I'm Washington, fine, we'll ride with Heineke for a year. I know we gave him a 2-year extension. I ride with him for a year. With the defense that we have and the people we have under contract, sure, I'm fine with it. Same with Carolina.
I just don't want Carson Wentz.
Listen. Your general manager, no, not your general, your owner is wanting to make a splash. I think Carson Wentz might end up in Carolina.
I'm afraid he might, and I don't want him.
Why not?
He'll be hurt all the time.
You got Teddy.
I'm afraid he might wind up here too.
Listen, your owner is actively trying to make a splash. He's trying to make you relevant.
Yep.
All right, Taryn, hook me up back on the my draft board here. All right, across the board, Lawrence 1 to Jacksonville, and Urban Meyer. I guess is that done deal? Urban.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, he's there. I can't remember who he reached out to. It's a pretty big name to be his offensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. But he's developing his coaching staff.
And then after that, it gets weird and crazy. McShay says Zach Wilson's going 2. 2 of these got him in there, so let's go off those. If McShay's saying he's going 2, there's probably a good chance he is. That leaves, it's got Miami at 3, and across the board, it's got wide receivers Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, and an offensive lineman Rashawn Slater for Miami.
Where would Justin Fields go?
Are they? Well, in this one, Tanner, Justin Fields goes number 4 to the Atlanta
That's what they're saying.
Falcons.
They were saying if Justin Fields is available at 4, they're going to get him, but if he's not, they're going to try to get Jamar Chase.
Chase is behind you guys. You also got Patrick Surtain. Listen, I've been watching you guys play football for a long time, Tanner. Draft the defense. I'm just telling you.
That boy's good.
Draft. I don't care who.
Surtain, that boy's
Draft
good.
the defender. You guys, you got a quarterback. You got a wide receiver.
He's the one out of Alabama,
You
right?
guys drafting a quarterback is like the Packers doing that this year in the first round. It's just what if you draft a quarterback next year in the first round, you might as well go ahead and trade Matt Ryan because you're wasting the year. Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, then I'd be calling up to number 2.
Shoot, Matt Ryan was trending, I think, 2 days ago because they were like, I've heard a bunch of rumors about Matt Ryan to Indianapolis. I'm like, well, I thought Atlanta said they're not trading him.
They did.
They're not trading him or Julio.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're saying. All right, so basically on all of these guys, the top 7 picks from the
They're
most
kind
part.
of interchangeable.
Yeah. So Devontae Smith, Patrick Surtain, Jamar Chase, Justin Fields, Penei Sewell. They got him all the way down to 7 in Detroit. on one of these. There is no way in hell the Detroit Lions are picking an offensive lineman in the first round, in top 10 pick.
Not this year.
That team, for the ever, they're going to pick a wide receiver.
Yep. That one over there, either Jamar Chase or Jalen Waddle.
Or somebody. Or they're not picking a lineman. They're not picking the safe, smart thing. That franchise has never done that.
Another thing for the Lions, too, is I think they aren't going to give money to, is it Marvin Jones Jr. or Galladay? And they think he might walk.
Yeah.
So that would feel
if I'm Miami, Hunter, I'm picking Sewell.
Yeah.
The number one lineman. Is he a left tackle? Or right?
He's out of Oregon, but I don't know which right tackle he is. I just know he's I just think he's the number one ranked lineman in the draft. He's a 4-year starter. It just says offensive lineman.
Player profile. O-line. Whoever made this page was like, this is such a waste of time.
Care. Yeah, they're like, whatever. We don't care. They're not really going to click on it, but here we go.
I'm guessing he's a left tackle if he's the number one in the draft. Let's say he is. Isn't that what you want if you just drafted a quarterback?
Excuse me. Yeah, you want to protect him.
He's left-handed.
Yeah, and not only that,
right in his face.
They have a hole at the left tackle because Laramie Tunsil was there, and that's who they traded to the Texans to get this pick. So they would essentially be replacing Tunsil with Sewell.
The question is, would you rather have the best lineman in the draft and a second-round wide receiver, or maybe the second or third best wide receiver and the second or third best offensive lineman? So it's what you have to weigh.
It just depends on really how committed they are to Tua. They could do something crazy right there.
So Zach, Panthers across the board's got quarterbacks. It's got Mac Jones and my favorite, Trey Lance. You know anything about Lance?
No. It seemed like we was at the fourth or fifth quarterback in every draft except for one, and I think it was somebody had us picking a linebacker. For
one
Penn
of those
State.
had you guys trading the pick to Houston. I guess.
I would like to
guess
get
in a
Deshaun
way that
Watson,
you would get
but I don't
Deshaun.
want to give everything for him. I mean, I'd give him this year's first, next year's first, and McCaffrey.
So Zach, he only played one game this year, but last year he had 28 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
Who did he play for?
North Dakota State.
Ain't that where
Carson Wentz?
Was it Wentz? Where did big guy Josh Allen?
Allen played at Wyoming. The one.
I like Lance. I told Hunter, I was like,
how big is he?
He's big too.
He's like 6'5".
Like he's 6'4", 225.
Yes. That's decent.
He's Chasser size.
That's the quarterback size. That's the NFL size quarterback.
I didn't want him to be like 6 foot.
No, this is he's a big kid. He's got a big arm. 28 touchdowns. Again, 0 interceptions. I don't care what level you're playing on. That's hard to do.
Anything.
Yeah, it's so hard to do. Got Caleb Farley of the Broncos, 9 and 2 spots in Quiddy Pay. Cowboys at 10. Offensive linemen and linebackers and a tight end. So that's just kind of what everybody's going with right now. I guess we'll know.
Just depends on what Jerry decides.
The draft is definitely going to be, I guess, April?
Mm-hmm.
So
it'll be interesting.
2 months before the draft. There's going to be a lot of quarterback moves before then. And So
and it'll shake this up a lot.
We can talk about this now, and it's going to be a waste of time, kind of.
Right.
Because in 4 weeks, it's going to be totally
here in a few
different
days,
based on
Carson Wentz is going to be traded.
Right.
So it might be at the end of this week, and we're sitting here saying,
if 2 quarterbacks get moved in the next week,
shakes all this up.
Just 2.
Uh-huh.
Right. Everything's crazy.
Think about it. Say the Jets do move off Sam Darnold. Well, then that validifies maybe that they are going to take a quarterback at 2. But then what about the team that they trade him to?
Right.
That's just what's so strange. And then the Carson Wentz thing. Are the Eagles really sold on Jalen Hurts? I mean, they're sitting there with a top 10 pick. I mean, do they go 2 years in a row drafting a quarterback?
If you're the Jets, let's say you're sitting at 2. This is what I would do if I was the GM. I would call one of these teams that need a quarterback. And because Darnold's he's been in the league, 2 years?
Yeah, Darnold's been in the same years that Baker and Josh Allen have.
I'm making the proclamation that they're not 100% sold on him, okay? Because if you're 100% sold, you keep him.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think you can get the same guy in the draft at 7, you call Detroit.
And trade.
Right. It'd be like, y'all want we'll give you Sam Darnold for the 7th pick.
But Detroit's already got Jared Goff.
I'm just saying any team.
Right.
A team that needs it.
I know.
That was a bad example. So look down to Carolina. Would you trade your 8th pick for
Sam Darnold?
Yeah.
Sam Darnold was the 3rd pick. So
right.
We'll see what happened with.
Would Dallas? Would you trade the 10 for Sam Darnold? Would you?
That way
Dallas,
you don't have to pay Dak Prescott.
Right, if you're
the crazy
Dallas
money.
and I can get Sam Darnold and Andy Dalton in my house for half the price of Dak Prescott, how is that not better for our team, for our system, for our organization?
Right.
Man, these GMs, I can only imagine having these arguments with the owners. I'd like to be a GM. I'm like, look, I mean, you can have Carson Wentz for the next 3 years, $100 million, or we get 2 guys for half that. Looking down in the 20s, I don't really care. It's got. Let me go down here to the Browns.
I would think though that the person it's got to be a trade partner for Carson Wentz. They got to have the space to bring that cap on. God, that contract's huge.
But is Philadelphia going to eat it? Some of it like Goff's.
Do they really want to take that hit though? Think about it. Were you here when I told you what the hit was for Jared Goff's? Matt Stafford is cheaper than the cap hit they're taking for Jared Goff's contract. Jared Goff's contract cap hit that they're taking, they're eating $22 million. That's cheaper than what Stafford's contract is. I don't know if Philadelphia wants to be in that same boat. They might be looking for someone that says, look, straight up, you're going to have to just be able to afford his contract.
I think they load up with the.
All right, do y'all want to know who's got the most cap space, dead money? How y'all want to look at that?
Most cap space, what, isn't it Cleveland still? I know Washington's close.
Y'all are 7th.
Okay.
Got $32 million. Number 1, Jacksonville.
That's right. That's why they unloaded everybody.
$74 million.
Anybody? Hey,
And they're
y'all want to
going
come play?
rookie quarterback contract.
Y'all want to come play with Sunshine?
All right,
we got the money.
The cap is
supposed to go down this year from 180 to almost 175. I think.
I'm not getting I don't know the exact total cap. 185.
Yeah.
This is a 185,000.
185 million.
Yeah,
185,000. That's it.
Yeah, shit.
My God.
We're going to
nobody.
Jets are 2. So your top 2 picks got the most draft capital and the most space.
They let go everybody.
They're in the situation the Browns were when they were drafting Baker, because we had $60 million in cap space too. So they can go and add if they're smart. Here's one that's dangerous, Hunter. Colts are 3.
And they've already got a rock solid team.
They got a good line and a good defense.
They could be great trade partners with Philadelphia because Frank Reich was there. Carson Wentz had that amazing season, and they went on to win the Super Bowl.
He might not like Carson Wentz.
He might not, but I'm just saying.
Who's this?
The Colts.
Colts are 3rd in cap space.
I'm just saying.
$69 million.
If they have to eat his contract,
that's where he looks like he's landing.
If they have to eat that contract, that would be nice.
The only people that can afford him are the top 5, as far as
if they're not eating any.
They're not eating any.
The Eagles, yeah.
Jacksonville 1's got $74 million. Jets got 72. Colts got 69. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, 4th team, the New England Patriots. They got all these guys coming back from COVID, and he's got $64 million in cap space.
He don't pay nobody no ways, so
he could get Carson Wentz and Dak Prescott almost for $74 million.
He could also go out and try and acquire one of the top wide receiver free agents if he brought in a quarterback.
Bengals 5, Chargers 6. Now,
Washington
it drops
7.
so low. Like, you guys are $32 million. Like I said, the Patriots were at 64. So it drops $20 million from 3 to 7. Browns are at 12. They're not in a bad spot. We've got $22 million to spend. Panthers, Zach, you only got $15 million.
Yeah. Blame that on McCaffrey.
Going down the bottom, see who's got the least. Oh God, there's a lot of teams got to do something to get under. There's about 10 teams over
Dallas
the cap.
Is horrible, ain't they?
Dallas is under right now. Here's who's over. Detroit, Giants, Vikings, Raiders, Chiefs, Steelers, Falcons, Packers, Rams, Eagles, and Saints. What's up, sir? The Saints are $78 million over the cap.
Wow.
Philadelphia's $51 million over the cap. So if they could get that 35 of Wentz
off
to one of the 70s, it would be good. The Rams are at minus 34, Packers minus 29, Falcons minus 23. It basically means y'all ain't signing nobody.
And everybody's got that big, heavy quarterback contract.
All those do, yeah. Chiefs, Raiders at minus 13. They can get rid of one of those quarterbacks and alleviate that.
Mariota's probably making a lot for
Vikings at 8.
I think Mariota's got $8 or $9 million as a backup.
Vikings are at 8. 8 million. They cut.
They're -8 or
It could cut Cousins and have like the 5th most money. Think about that. You could cut a quarterback and have the 5th most money cap space in the NFL if you cut a $35 million quarterback. Because 6th is that 33.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like Zach said, you get sign of 20 million. You get Brady for 15. Let's see who's got the most dead money. Rams, $31 million in dead money.
Because a lot of that's still going to Todd Gurley, too.
And
they owe Todd Gurley money. I don't know if they ever gave him his money.
They ain't been giving it to him.
The next one
I hear
is Detroit Lions at $19 million in dead money.
That's horrible.
I wonder if that's what they had to eat on that Stafford contract.
I think so. Jets 15, Ravens 11, San Francisco 9, Panthers 9, Cowboys 9. So there's your dead money. I don't know if the Browns got any dead money. We got 500,000 dead money. That's it.
That's it. You're the owner. You just write a check and pay that off.
How about the Texans don't have any? They're at 0. So they're not even fucking with the cap. And the Chargers are 58,000 under the cap in LA. LA's 58,000 under the cap. All right, so there's your NFL. Zach, you got anything? News, notes, thoughts, suggestions on anything going on in the NFL right now? All right. We're going to finish up with Daytona 500, but I want to kind of put some quick things here in the middle. Hunter, you got anything on baseball right now?
Baseball, no, not really. Zuna's coming back to Atlanta. That's one thing. If you're a Braves fan, you're actually pretty excited about because you still have arguably one of the most dangerous 1, 2, 3 batting lineups if they keep him there with Acuna, Freddie, and then Ozuna.
So you got Acuna, Freeman, and Ozuna. I'm trying to think Cardinals. I can't remember who the third one would be for us. But we've got Goldschmidt and Arenado.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
I guess it depends what day Matt Carpenter's batting. Like one day he looks like me, and the next day he looks like an all-star.
Because he's old.
The good news is we re-signed Yachty for 1 year, and as of course, going through Twitter and the Yachty slander. There's a lot of people that hate him. It's weird. Like
Kevin, there are a lot of haters out there for no reason.
You're 100% right.
For no reason.
You're 100% right. It's just weird.
Think about it. You say anything that sounds remotely like a hate towards Mike Trout, and you yourself have got haters out the door.
What's weird about it is the word hate is like, first of all, I don't hate anybody. That's
right.
Like, it's I hate you.
Right.
If you say, well, LeBron's number 2 in my book, somebody would say you hate him.
Oh, it's pretty dang good.
It's interpretation of the hate. The Yachty, I don't get the Yachty, I guess, because maybe he's a little cocky or does whatever. But he, again, in 17 seasons, they've had one losing season. And they had 79 wins, 2 games under 500 in 17 seasons. The Molina brothers have 5 championships. Barry Bonds, Ken Griffey Jr., and Mike Trout have 0. So we can talk the war. They're talking about. His war is the same as Russell Martin's.
How many times
Russell Martin.
Listen, if there's anybody online that wants to tweet at me at all, if I ever make a comment on baseball, and the one of the things they mention in their tweet is war, I discredit them completely. Because
how about one of the Russell Martin arguments on it? They showed the stats, compared them. The only stat that was actually a real stat was home runs. It was all advanced stuff, like
advanced analytics, like OPS.
Like I would have to click a button and be like, it was like WARIC.
You have to click it just to see the algorithm.
Like, what is so hard about saying, when this guy catches, the team ERA is 3.5. When anyone else catches, it's 4.5.
That's a substantial difference.
Yeah. That's not hard to computate, is it?
No.
This guy has 10 gold gloves. This guy has 2. Whether or not you think it's a popularity contest, he won 5 times more than this guy. Mm-hmm. So let's say 4 of them are popularities. He still has 3 times as many as that guy. So I don't get the Yachty hate at all. To me, he might be the most clutch hitter. Pujols the best hitter we've ever had. And in clutch situations, I can't think of a lot of times where he did mess up. Mm-hmm. But I mean, Hunter, playoff after playoff series, Yachty wins a game with a clutch hit at some point in the playoffs, and we all know what he's doing at the plate at catcher. Now he was number 1 In caught stealing, he's gotten a little older. He's backed up to 2. A guy that's only played 7 years past him. I don't know his name, but I'm sure if that guy plays 10 more years, he's going to back behind Yachty. So if you've been number 1 your whole career in caught stealing and you never lose, I don't know.
So other than that, nothing really in baseball.
This is the way too early rotation rankings. I'm sure the Dodgers are 1, aren't they?
Yeah.
I can't even name the Cardinals pitchers.
Wouldn't surprise me.
It don't go past. It's one of those insider articles.
Oh, you got to read it. It doesn't go past the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I think Price was like 5th on the Dodgers.
David Price?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's their 5th.
That's
Yeah,
their
let's just
5th?
throw him out as the
Damn,
5th.
okay. That's the rich get richer in the
you
Have
MLB.
any of y'all, including you, Tanner, been to a minor league baseball game before? I mean, not minor league baseball. Shit. What are they? Spring training.
Oh, no. My grandparents have.
Did you ever
I've
go
been to a minor
Did you ever
league
go down,
game,
Zach?
but
When any of us were ever, we went down a couple times when I was little.
My grandparents like to try and go every year to Atlanta's spring training down in Florida.
So we used to go down and see the Cardinals every year. I think once a year, maybe when we went down, once every other year when I was little. One year, Zach, we went down, and James and Lanita and them went down. And I don't know if you remember this story we told you, but we went to, it wasn't the Cardinals state, because they played in St. Petersburg. It was either Tampa or somewhere else down there, but it was the Royals spring training facility. And I got to see Bo Jackson hit a home run off Nolan Ryan in a spring training game. He hit a bomb. I mean, it's spring training. Nolan's throwing the 100. He's just, I'm just stepping on the mound and bringing the heat. And Bo's sitting there and woof. And what's funny, I never heard of the Royals before then. Because I played coach pitch here in Cherryville, and one of the team was the Orioles. So James kept saying, we're going to see the Rangers and the Royals. And I thought he was saying Orioles. It's like, there's no orange here. We kept walking around. I remember as a kid looking around at the hats trying to find a Royals hat. And it was all around me. But I didn't know. I'd never seen one before. And he kept saying Royals, and I was looking for the little orange bird. Wow. But I got to see Bo Jackson hit a home run off Nolan Ryan in a spring training game. Never been to spring training?
I've been to minor league games.
Now, I've played on a spring training field in our 13-year-old All-Star team went down to Florida, and we played at the Expos spring training field. We got beat by the Texas All-Stars, the Kentucky All-Stars, and the Florida All-Stars. Every single one of those teams had a professional baseball player's son on the team. So we were one step away from the Little League World Series, the 13-year-old Little League. We were in that tournament to get to it. So if we win it, we're in. We got knocked out in a 2-1 ball game, Tanner, where, get this, our 8, 9, and 1 batters walked. Okay? So it's a picture. We got bases loaded, no outs, down 2-1, bottom of the 6th, or the 7th, last inning. Base load, no outs, down 1. And the next 3 guys, our 2, 3, and 4 hitters, all popped up to the infield.
That's what happened to us at state.
Yeah, y'all had some of the same thing. Like it's just you sitting there, you got bases loaded, you're down 1, your 2, 3, and 4 hitters are up. Oh, we're getting on, we're scoring, and we're going to the ship. And I was one of them. I was the 3 hitter, popped it up. It's me, David Cash, I think Petrie. 3 best hitters on the teams that are popping up in the infield. Lost by 1. The coach of that team was Jim Riggleman. His son was on the team. Jim Riggleman used to be the coach of the Cubs. So his son was on that team. You remember Orlando Cepeda played for the Cardinals? His son was on the Texas team. And the Kentucky team, I can't remember who was on that one. But anyway, I had a little spring training fun for me, I guess, down there. All right, Hunter, over to the NBA.
All right.
We've got... okay, now they've changed this. The NBA has disagreed with Mark Cuban now. Did you see the story that came out yesterday?
Yes, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised the NBA disagrees.
But they've let him do it until now. And then now that it says NBA issue statement says all teams will play the national anthem. Cuban and the Mavericks had decided decision not to after consulting with the commissioner. He says. The rule book requires players to stand during the national anthem, but Silver has declined to enforce the rule. So that's basically some of that. Don't these people everybody got other things to worry about? And
God forbid you play a national anthem
Right.
before you play a ball game.
And the same
in America.
the same thing
in America.
the same thing about like the shit. I'm trying to say it. Well, whatever you think about it, it's just weird. It's just weird that like Zach said, just said in America, but like with Twitter and same thing with Twitter and Facebook, by banning users. Or by what the kneeling does as far as a fan goes, like why did you want to alienate your
certain fans,
your customers?
Right.
More is the best way I can say it. Like why, like as a radio station, when people don't advertise with us anymore or cancel it, we don't go on the radio and say this business sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Like they might come back.
Right.
You never know. I'm kind of getting that point. Like why? Why do something that they usually don't? In the past that affects the bottom line, and now they are. Yeah, it's just I don't know if the national anthem has to do with basketball.
Yeah, I'll just keep it simple on that story. I don't agree with Mark Cuban on this. I think he's a very intelligent man.
Obviously,
I think he's got a bunch of great ideas, but I just don't agree with this one. I think Shannon Sharp came out today and said we got to stop. Because he was in favor of it, and he's like, we got to stop showing that these little gestures are the only sign of patriotism. He said you can be a patriot by being, a good person and all sorts of other stuff. So I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. You don't need to quite have symbolism to show your patriotism, but at the same time, like, it's not hurting anybody. Like, playing the national anthem is not. I don't have nobody getting upset.
Some people are
at me.
offended by the national anthem.
It's just, I don't understand. I just don't understand. It's just a song.
It is
weird. But to some people, it's more than just
I guess
a song.
Everything in general is just a weird situation. In fact, that where else are you going to go? Right. And what's weird about it is, okay, let's say the country is the freest country in the world. This one is. Why do you want your people to be in charge to take away the rights of other people? If you don't want other people to be free anymore, why don't you move to one of the communist countries and enjoy the communism yourself?
And go play basketball in China.
There's
where it is
200
communist
countries in the world. Why do you want to change the one? There's one that's supposedly supposed to allow you this free speech that we have and talk about. And it's just weird to me why, like, if that's what you really want, we'll go. Why change something or try to change something? Or what other country what other country, Zach? And I know China, one of these days, Hunter, NBA might move the whole thing to China.
maybe.
Putting some money in over here.
Think about it. I mean, seriously, Tanner, they got twice as many people, 3 times as many people as we do. They could easily put all our teams over there in their big cities and be bigger cities than over here, except for New York and LA.
China loves their
Yeah, they do.
basketball
They
too.
sure do.
And so
they have since the Dream Team.
The
Remember that? It was
the NBA's money's almost split half and half. At what point does China could buy the NBA? What if they just come in and just Silver and be like, we're gonna give. Think about it. Silver represents the NBA owners, right? If you buy a franchise, they're saying what, $1 billion to buy a franchise now?
What if they say we'll buy all franchises?
We'll buy all the franchises. We're going to give you $500 billion. Do the owners say no to that? No. The NBA will be in China so quick. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying don't doubt it. The money, but again, the country whether you want to not acknowledge it or not, you can't do what you're doing here in another country. There's almost nothing in this country that you can do in other places, and to take those away, just weird. All right, Bradley Beal's leading the NBA in scoring at 33. Stephen Curry,
Get him to a contender.
29-6. Lillard, 29-4. Embiid, 29. Luka Doncic at 27. Defensive leader, rebounding. Capella's 1. Drummond 2. Gobert 3. James Harden's leading the league in assists with 11. Luka's 2. Trae Young 3. The Joker's 4. And Chris Paul is 5. Most three-pointers made per game is McCollum and Steph, tied at 4.8. And a newbie is your steals leader. All right, Hunter, I've got some stats for you and Zach. This is... All right, everybody's talking about LaMelo Ball and his leading the rookies in scoring now by half a point.
Well, not anymore. It just changed. I can tell you what he is.
Did it change last night? I thought it was.
Oh, okay. No, it is. 3 hours ago. Yeah. It is points. He in total points though. Like
I
in
don't care
total
about
score.
that. It just means you played more minutes on average.
I'm just saying. No, yeah, but it's not average.
Right.
It's just total points, rebounds, assists, steals, double doubles, triple doubles, and he's leading all rookies in PER.
in total stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So what I've given you guys, and I meant to bring it on a disc for the folks at home, but I guess y'all ain't gonna see, and I guess I don't care. This is rookie scoring chart. So I want to compare what LaMelo's doing now to what's happened in the past with rookies. It's just interesting. I want to see, like, the whole, rookie of the year. Some rookie classes are better than other rookie classes, right? So that's what I'm getting at here. So the numbers you're looking at, guys, you have the year. The number next to the year is what place LaMelo would be in scoring that year. So if this year he's in first, I'm put down every other year he wouldn't be first, except all the way back to 2001. It's been 20 years since we've had a rookie with this low of a scoring average lead the rookies in scoring. The next set of numbers, the number slash number, the first number is how many players average 20 points a game. The second slash number is how many players averaged in double digits. So you just get an idea with that. So looking at over the years, double digit scoring, we had the last 3 years we've had double digit scores, which means last year we had 15 guys averaging in 10 or more. Mm-hmm. The year before 10, the year before that 14, all the way back 2009, 13, 2002, 11. So 5 times in the last 20 years we've had double digit scores. Only once has 2 guys averaged 20 points. 2004. Carmelo was 1. Who was 2, Hunter?
It was LeBron.
Yeah. Melo and LeBron were in 2004.
You're talking just rookies, though.
Yeah, this is just rookie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Couple of times they didn't have 20-point scores. So on the far right, obviously, is the leading scorer of that year. So looking at that, if LaMelo came out in any other year but this year, in the last 20 years, he would not be the leading scorer, except for 1 year, which was 2001, Mark Jackson. Hunter, that's not the point guard Mark Jackson. You know who that is?
No. I was going to say,
you don't even know who that is,
definitely wasn't the Mark Jackson that I'm thinking
That's
of.
what I was thinking.
You don't even know who that is, do you?
No.
That is the center, Mark Jackson, that went to the...
See, when you spelled it M-A-R-C, I thought you maybe have misspelled
Nope.
Marc Gasol.
Nope.
I was like, oh.
So
Never
Mark
mind.
Jackson, here, click on the internet here. I'll show you. The 6'10 center who only played 7 years in the NBA, went to VCU and Temple. This is Mark Jackson.
He wasn't even drafted.
Yeah, he was. Ninth, second round, ninth pick.
Second round.
Yep, 37th overall. The second round, ninth pick led the 2001 NBA rookies in scoring, and nobody's ever heard of
I
him
don't
since.
see it. Am I in 2001? Nope, that's why I'm in the wrong draft. I'm in 2001 NBA draft.
You're in the but he was drafted in the. This is the 2001 season. He was drafted in the 2000 draft.
Okay, that's why. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
So, I'm not here to trash anybody. I'm here to say this draft class is weak.
Oh, it is.
And
This year's draft class.
like
weak.
just looking at those, because I kept saying 14 and 13, and I'm like, I know people have done better than that. And then I look across the board, and they have by
By a lot.
for 19
Substantially.
straight years.
Substantially.
Like 22, 21, 20, 20, 18.
I mean, think about it. Zion last year, 22.5. Luka, 21.2. Like, 4 years in a row, they averaged 20.
I'm gonna look down through there. Michael Carter Williams led him.
I was about to say, the fact that Michael Carter Williams had 16.7 points a game in his rookie season. Wow.
OJ
I
Mayo.
missed Ben Gordon. I was thinking Ben Wallace, and I'm like, surely that's got to be wrong.
No, Ben Gordon, the little guard.
He was good.
He was in Chicago for his
was good. He
first
was
few
good.
years, wasn't he?
He was just small.
He reminds me of Kemba Walker a lot.
Yeah.
Well, all right, you can go back out of that. I'm sure everybody want to see the Mark Jackson's career stats.
That's horrible.
But it
Still don't
is.
have him.
It is really telling. But that was the story going into this draft was,
Yeah.
you know, anybody almost
don't
could
know.
anybody could have been taken at 1, they said. Anybody that was really taken within the top 5, they said at some point could have been the number 1 pick because there is no one person that just stands out head and shoulders above the next guy. Like, Sure, it just comes down really to fit. That's just really how they drafted. I said there's no way Minnesota takes Wiseman. Why? Because they already got Karl Anthony Towns. And who'd they end up taking? Anthony Edwards. There's no way that I thought Golden State would take a guard. Why? I didn't think Klay Thompson was going to hurt himself again. I was like, well, you got Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. So you're going to get James Wiseman. A lot of people can put the question mark around LaMelo, but to me, I looked at it and said, for hell, you got to get interesting. You got to take a chance on somebody. And that's what they did. But to look at any of them and say you were going to average 20 going into this season and you're the next big thing, there was no Zion. There was no, I'm looking at Luka and Trae Young and they're going to be battling back and forth that season to see who, Rookie of the Year was. There was no Donovan Mitchell. There was no Joel Embiid that's just this huge dominant body down low. So 100%.
This might be very similar to that 2000 draft or the one we were looking at. Kenyon Martin was the number one. I mean, you go down the list. I remember the guys because they were good in college, but they sucked in the NBA.
Here's the thing.
Look at the 2004 draft, Zach, when Ben Gordon led it. There was one of these years was almost exactly like this year. I think that might have been the one where you're like, ugh, those guys don't look too good.
04.
Try the 04 draft.
Dwight Howard, Emeka.
Yeah, after them.
So 5.
Ben Gordon, Sean Livingston, which should have been better than he was. He just got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Devin Harris, decent. Josh Childress was really good in college.
He was good in Atlanta for a little while.
Iguodala, we know he kind of blossomed later. I remember Sebastian Telfair's name. Al Jefferson, he blossomed later. J.R. Smith. Did not know that we drafted J.R. Smith.
Did we? Who did we trade him?
Oh, sorry. New Orleans did that.
Wrong Hornets.
Did not know that. Jameer Nelson, I remember that name.
He played decent with Orlando. They matched him up with Dwight Howard. He was short.
He was
short.
Like I said,
he made the finals.
He did.
All right, Hunter.
On the back of those huge boulder shoulders of Dwight.
2015, Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah.
Jabari Parker was second. Jabari Brown third. Jordan Clarkson fourth.
Role player.
Langston Galloway fifth. Mirotic sixth. Zach LaVine 7.
Actually a star on his team.
Or all the players that averaged 10. Bogdanovich is 9th. Averaged 9 his rookie year. Mitch McGrary's in there. PJ Harrison's in there. 5.6 on that year. All right, the year before, I only got like 2 more I want to look at real quick. As soon as my internet catches up. The year before was Michael Carter Williams leading up 16.9 points a game. Come on. Intranet.
Michael Carter Williams, when he was coming out, a lot of people thought he was going to change the game because of his size for the point guard position. He was one of the ones that was the 6'6", 6'7" build point guard.
Him and Kendall Marshall disappeared as quickly as they came on the scene. Mm-hmm. Kendall led the NBA in assist and then got cut and didn't make the team the next year.
Yeah.
He led the NBA in assist. Let's cut him.
Right.
I mean, what did you expect him to do? He wasn't like this great score out of it.
Guys, y'all don't think he's going to score 15 a game.
I mean, come on.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck. All right, how about this one, Hunter?
Half the NBA
does exactly what you draft him to do.
So listen to this rookie draft class. It's weird as crap. The rookie year, I don't even know what to think about it. How about in 2014, Michael Carter Williams was 1. Oladipo 2, Trey Burke, Tim Hardaway, Tim Hardaway. Only 4 guys averaged 10 points that year. This year we got 5. So like we're in this land. But listen to all the late bloomers. Only Giannis.
Yeah.
CJ McCollum.
Yeah.
McCollum averaged 5 his rookie year.
Now he's in the 20s.
Giannis averaged 7.
Yeah. Now he's almost 30.
But then there's guys next to him that Hollis Thompson, Ray McCollum, CJ. Oh, there's CJ. CJ McCollum got picked before or had scored more. Ray McCollum scored more points than CJ McCollum his rookie year.
And only one of them.
Do you know who Ray McCollum is?
No.
No, I don't need it. It's his cousin, I guess.
Only Ray I can remember is Ray Jackson off the Fab 5.
Kelly Olynyk was 6th that year with 8.7 as a rookie year. So one other thing that we don't talk about as far as rookies 200 is time. Is how much minutes you play. That puts a lot into it as well. So like, and fit and how much you help your team. So like Wiseman in Golden State, he's there to get rebounds, dunk the basketball, fill the lane. Mm-hmm. He's getting 14 and 6. LaMelo is there, I guess, to sell tickets, pass the ball, and shoot deep threes. The other night, which I never got a response from Tom about. Did you look at the up his twos that night?
No.
That I kept texting about?
Uh-uh.
He was 0 for 6. So I got a text bragging about how many threes he hit.
But he did hit 7.
But he took, how many did he take?
12.
It was 4. I think it was 14 threes.
So it's 50% from the 3-point line.
Or something. No, it might have been 18 threes. It was something I was saying. You looked at the thing like, he took more threes than anyone else on the team took shots. So fine, whatever, however, today's NBA. But the thing was, he was over. I got a text Zach, hey, he hit 7 threes. I said, well, what did he get from 2? And they never answered me. He was 0 for 6. So I don't know. Everybody's got a different fit. And so, like, Edwards' kid, I guess in Minnesota, I have not watched a single Minnesota game, but I'm guessing do whatever the hell he wants to.
Yeah, I mean, you got him
They
and
won 5 games.
You got him and D'Angelo Russell in the backcourt. Like, they kind of just do whatever they want, and then Karl Anthony Towns. But guess what? They still lose. Like, I'm pretty sure they still have the worst record in the league right now,
There's 3 teams tied with 6 wins,
and they're one of them.
and you are too.
I know.
And the
We're
Pistons
bad.
are, and they've beat the Lakers and taken them to double overtime.
Mhm.
How do you judge regular
Didn't
season?
the Pistons just beat the Nets too the other
Yeah,
night?
I think something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've beat all the good teams.
2 nights ago. Yeah, NBA regular season, real fun.
Pistons. So top 3 drafters right now are Washington Pistons and Timberwolves. Now the question I had, Hunter, for that is, who's the number 1 pick next year? Do you know or have any inside information on that?
Heck no.
Because what I've been seeing on Twitter the last few days is a lot of people are posting and talking about the G League guys. Remember this year, wasn't like 3 of the top 10 recruits all went to the
They
G
went on
League.
to the G League.
So we may have a G League draft next year for the first time ever.
That's the thing. Like, I'm looking at college basketball, and people argue today probably one of the best college basketball players is Luka Garza from Iowa. But I watch him play, I'm like, that's not translating to the NBA. Not today's NBA game. Maybe back in the day when having a dominant center was important, but not today's NBA. I look at the kid out of Oklahoma State. God, he's a baller. I can't remember his last name. Cunningham. I think it's Cade Cunningham. That's a baller. Straight up, that's a baller. You might hear his name as a top 5 pick at some point. But outside of them, maybe the guard out of Gonzaga. They got one guard that I cannot remember his name either. Because this is one of those years. It's weird. We don't have a Zion everybody's paying attention to. We don't have that guy in college basketball that everybody is paying attention to. And it's weird because, to me, like, I like basketball, but I'm more dedicated if it comes draft-wise to the NFL draft than I am to the to the NBA draft, because like you're only really picking 60 kids.
What's bad about
That's it.
What's bad about the NBA draft is
A lot of them go undrafted, really.
Well, think about this. Most guys aren't good. You're not sure who you are as a basketball player until you're about 25.
Oh, I know. None of them. When they're 18 or 19, it's like, sure, like, we can see, but he's like, where will he be when he's 23?
Like, Jordan won his first title at 27, was it? So, and he had 3 years of college. If the greatest ever had 3 years of college and then 5 or 6 years in the NBA, that's he had a decade before he won.
Yeah.
And you look at these kids, say, well, we draft LaMelo. We can sit for 5 years, and Hornets might never win a single playoff game.
Right.
Until he is the player he could be. Giannis. Look at Giannis in his rookie year. 6 points a game. Now he's one of the best in the league. In back-to-back MVPs, right?
Yeah, back to back.
So, you know, there's a lot of growing in 5 years. What's sad about the NBA is by 3 to 5 years, you may have already traded
You're
that
already
guy.
ready to move on.
He might not be there anymore. He might not want to be there. What if you're in the Kemba Walker situation? He's been here 5 years and we still winning 20 games. The NBA is hard. The younger you go, like developing and keeping guys is not good.
I have always said this. The NBA needs to look at again letting kids come out of high school, because I would like for them to amend it. If you're going to let them come out of high school, fine. But if you go to college, you got to do at least 3 years. football rule. You can't leave until after your junior season is over. One, I think that makes the college game a hell of a lot better because you've got teams that have guys that stay and get developed. And then two, I think it helps the NBA because you have guys that actually have learned the system a little bit more, and they might actually come in being a better player than what they are at 18. Like, just because Kevin Garnett and Kobe and LeBron and them panned out coming out of high school doesn't mean everybody can do it.
There's a lot of people that didn't.
They don't.
Zach,
the only one I could think of late was, I think Zion probably could have done it out of high school, but that was just his size and his athletic ability. Other than that, nobody.
Zach, I know we've talked, the transfer rules and how coaches can move around in college and everything before. Kind of what Hunter's kind of leaning into that. You know, before we were born and everything, the NCAA didn't allow freshmen to play. And I brought up Saturday that if that rule was still in effect, Chaz Stratt would still be the quarterback in North Carolina probably. Because Sam Howell came with the promise that he's getting to play as a freshman. And I'm not just talking about Chaz's situation. I'm talking about in general when new coaches come in, and if that coach don't want the quarterbacks who are there, those guys at that position are screwed. At defensive end, you can find playing time. At linebacker, you can find playing time. If you're a quarterback, you're screwed if the coach doesn't.
Because of system.
Whether his system or he doesn't like you or doesn't want you in, he wants that. And Mac Brown, one of the freshmen, it helps with his recruiting. There's so many things. But I was thinking the other day, what do you think about a rule, maybe even in basketball too, about a no freshman rule again, to develop the guys, to have them in there practicing and getting used to school. That's one of the major things going to college is getting you. If you're a basketball player, you're only going 1 year.
No, it's not worth it. 6 months.
It's
you're there.
insane.
Not even 6 months.
Why are you even there to learn where stuff is on campus? You shouldn't know anything. You should just know where the local food, the restaurant is, your cafeteria, and the weight room.
Usually the one and dones are, I can't say usually on all levels, but usually the one and dones, especially not the top one and dones, they kind of suck it up in the NBA, so they're hurting themselves, my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll have a hard time implementing that rule because we're in the selfish age now where everybody says I can do whatever I want to do, and they'll have a hard time implementing that. But I wouldn't have a problem with it. And then third is I watched the Carolina Duke game the other day, and you talking about talent. None of those guys on either one of those teams, they're not going to make it in the NBA right now. That was a horrible game. It was horrible. I mean, it was horrible. And
as a Carolina fan, I loved watching it because we won. But
I did too.
I'll tell you what,
I didn't see anything that impressed me.
You're right.
Talking about talent.
When you look at the college basketball landscape right now, the teams that are having the most success have guys that have stayed 3 to 4 years. That's 100%. The Gonzagas, the Iowas, the Baylors, they got guys that are committed and stayed there for quite a bit. That's just how it is.
That's why I've been banging my head for forever to keep recruiting. And I don't care about the 5 stars.
And listen,
the 4 stars that stay for 3 or 4 years, and they're going to be studs.
Get 5 or 6 4 stars. And
yes.
Listen,
load up.
Think about this, Hunter. You sit there and watched a unranked North Carolina and an unranked Duke face off each other without any NBA players.
I think Caleb Love will make it, but not right now.
He's not as good as our last 2 that we had.
No, but that's the best game I've seen him play all year.
And the North Carolina all-time leading scorer is playing wide receiver at Wake Forest. Right?
Right.
So why is Duke and North Carolina not good? Maybe because they didn't recruit the state well. Duke never recruits this state.
Yeah,
North Carolina usually gets the number 1 player in the state. That's their goal, the number 1 or 2 player in the state. But the state of North Carolina's all-time leading scorer, and that's his choice to play football. But how can you tell me Duke or North Carolina didn't make one damn phone call to him?
Let him play both.
Right.
Let him be Peppers.
Roy should have let Chaz. They should let Chaz play both too. During the offseason, what's he doing right now? January, February, March.
Right now, he's working out for the draft.
I know that, but I'm saying the last few years, he could have easily been a backup point guard.
Yeah.
Think about you want a 6'3" lefty that can do dunks as your backup point guard, or you want Nate Britt out here dribbling off his feet? Or whoever their backup is.
Britt. Holy shit. He used to piss me off
That's what I'm saying.
much.
I don't like, there's nobody I hate more than Nate Britt.
Oh, that's funny.
Nate Britt is so bad, his brother beat us in the national championship.
Mm-hmm. He did. Villanova. and then we won it the next year. But regardless,
Roy should have been fired that day. They got beat by his brother. Because why does North Carolina not have the better brother? Why do we have the shitty brother that's not winning the championship? You're gone, Roy.
you're gone.
You got beat by him. I mean, the same household. You know where they're at. You got beat by that guy.
You didn't recruit both of them.
You can't blame that on nobody else but Roy Williams.
Coming up, the conversation's coming up really quick too with Roy and Coach K. They're getting really long in the tooth.
I think it's time for both of them.
I agree.
It's been time.
I think
It wouldn't hurt me if either one of them went. The problem is if you are the university, do you already have the guy lined up to take the spot? I don't know. Are they going to?
Neither one of them will have a hard time finding her.
No, they won't.
I mean, we might get Matt Doherty for 2 years, and then we'll get
They're going to
replacing.
get plenty of applicants. Matt Doherty is the best recruiter this school ever had.
He did. He loaded that team up, man, and Roy won with them.
Best recruiter.
I bet Matt Doherty's
North
still
Carolina.
pissed about that.
They should have sent him a ring.
They should have. He's loaded. That's one of my favorite Tar Heel teams.
05?
Yeah,
It was.
I like that team.
Raymond Felton, Sean May. It was a good team.
Yeah,
McCants.
I was about to say.
I love that team.
Excuse me, guys. The best player on that team was Rashad McCann.
We don't. He ousted the school.
And then
He outed the school
Hansborough
about the
was
cheating.
Really high on my list. My all-time favorite team is the '96. Stackhouse and
My favorite
McKinnis
team is that
and,
09 team.
Rashid.
Jesus Christ. Wayne Ellington, Ty Lawson, Tyler Hansborough, Danny Green. You got ballers
That
all
was a
across
fun
the
team.
floor.
They would have got smoked by that 96
Man, I'm
team.
telling you, Rasheed Wallace, man, was he's Jerry Stackhouse was my favorite, but
Hunter,
Rasheed
Rashid
grew on me.
owned Tim Duncan in college.
He did.
Owned him. I mean, just put Rashid on the Spurs for those 10 years or 15 and see how many championships he gets. He got one in Detroit.
And then we backed it up and got Jameson and Carter right after that.
That should the 97 team should have been the best college team of all time.
Should have never won. They never won the championship.
It should have been the best team of all time.
But when it comes to college basketball this year, I think that honest to God is why, or at least how the landscape of it is. I think that's why Duke, North Carolina, and Kentucky, these schools that have one and dones, I think that's why they are struggling is because you've got these guys in there that have been able to work in the facility and know the game plan and everything for at least 3 to 4 years. Well, these freshmen come in, COVID regulations, you're not able to come in and work out nearly as much. It's limited on what we can do. I honestly, and the off-season program that they would have had to come in and work was not there. I think that's hurt the development of the freshmen at the same time. I really do. And that's why I think whatever game that was, game 19 or 20 they played on the season against Duke, I think that's why we finally probably started to see the best game from Caleb Love. It's because he's actually kind of starting to get it. He's strung together 2 or 3 games now, scoring in the double digits, playing very efficient. I think that COVID really has affected a lot of these guys' development. It's going to be tough.
And two,
So let me read. Go ahead, Zach. No.
just one thing real quick. The other thing, too, watching the Duke Carolina game, trying to think the wording to use, the standings are going to be skewed because you don't have home team advantage.
No, you don't have home court.
Without the crowd. I mean, it was just so
It was
weird watching that Duke Carolina game the other day. It was just like surreal. You're watching it, you set them on sidelines, and they're sitting like it looked like they were playing hopscotch over there sitting down. It's just really weird, and you don't have the crowd into it, bringing so
It can make a difference. It really does. Especially, out of all the games that college basketball plays, I think that's the one where the crowd makes a huge difference.
too.
At least Duke, North Carolina,
Oh,
and
God.
especially the game at Cameron.
I think it makes the difference on the refs.
the way they call
how
it,
they call the game.
I think the home crowds make more difference on refs than anything else.
because they're going to get hyped up too.
Right.
The referees are going to be pumped,
Right.
and they might just be like, the crowd's into
But
it. They might
every
give
call
a
you make
charge.
against Duke, they're gonna boo you and chant how bad you and your family sucks and everything else about you.
Jesus, whatever else they can think of.
All right, so here's the mock draft.
For the NBA,
I'm just gonna read you years: freshman, G League, freshman.
yeah.
That's the top 7
Doesn't
picks.
Doesn't surprise me. I'm not surprised anymore.
Then it's sophomore at 8, freshman, not even playing in the Bahamas. He's in the Bahamas. Doesn't say if he's playing anybody. Just he's in the Bahamas. Not even sophomore. Finally, no, that was a freshman. Then sophomore, freshman, senior at 15.
Who is it?
Gonzaga, Corey Kispert.
Wow.
The Gonzaga player.
At 15.
Tell me, though,
as your first senior.
Is Cade Cunningham up there in the
He's
top
number
five?
1.
He's number 1.
Your first junior is Jared Butler of Baylor.
And what did I just say? 2 teams at the top right now. Gonzaga, Baylor. Senior and junior leadership.
I agree.
All right, David Duke, Zach, he plays for the Pacers. I mean, he plays for Providence.
You remember, I think the last one that, let's just say the last trooper that went 4 years was like almost Tim Duncan, wasn't it? Like the real.
Are you talking
4
about a
years
guy that actually panned
stayed?
out in the NBA and stayed all 4 years?
He could have went.
Tyler Hansbrough.
I don't know if he could have went as a junior.
I'm talking about somebody that could have went and stayed and was, he's the one of the last ones that was great.
That stayed for 4 years, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that stayed 4 years,
Freshman,
But I know what you're saying.
I don't think they won a
I know what you're
championship with him
saying.
either,
He had every opportunity to leave as like a sophomore, a junior, but he decided to stay till his senior year, and he still was a great pro.
So this first round mock, we've got 1 senior, 2 juniors. That's it. The rest freshmen and sophomores. And G League, of course. So here's your draft. Wizards. They've got them by team too, which who knows. Got 1 Wizards. Cade Cunningham. 2 Pistons. Evan Mobley, center from USC. He's 7 foot 195.
That's a string bean.
Oh my God.
Dude, he weighs only.
He's 7 foot 195.
He only weighs 20 pounds more than me, and he's huge.
A foot and a half taller than you.
Yeah, that's it.
7 foot
He'd walk
195.
through that door and have to bend down.
Well, put it this way: the guy going 3 is 6'4", 198. Guard. The guard weighs more than the center.
And he's going to look skinny.
100%.
They compare him to Chris Bosh. It says more mobile, LaMarcus Aldridge or Chris Bosh.
The 7-foot guy?
The 7-footer.
Go look at Taco Fall.
I like watching tacos.
He's at least kind
ate some tacos.
He's not a human being.
He's kind of filled.
That's an
up.
alien. I don't care what you say. That's an
They
alien.
should have had him on the new Space Jam. He should have been one of the
Didn't
small
he go
stars.
undrafted too?
I think it was the second round draft pick.
Jalen.
Close enough.
Jalen Green from the G League is 4. Kuminga is the one I was seeing everybody talking about yesterday online. Is at 5. Jonathan Kuminga. And Scotty Barnes from Florida State is 6. Stanford Zaire Williams 7.
That's, I think he'll be a decent player.
Book Knight from UConn is 8. Jalen Johnson 9 from Duke. Tennessee's Jaden Springer.
Really,
at
they're
10.
gonna take a guy. They're gonna take a guy from Duke after this year. Jalen Johnson isn't even the leading scorer on his team.
I'm trying to see if there's anybody else. Y'all might know. Hell, I don't.
What about that one dude from Georgetown that transferred to Texas Tech?
Oh,
the
Mac
point guard?
McClung.
Yeah.
Texas Tech.
I don't think he's gonna go yet. McClung's fun to watch though.
He's a freaking beast.
It doesn't have him as a first round.
Mac McClung, he's fun to watch.
It's got
And
some
he's
foreigners
not
too.
that tall either, and he can just.
You know whose cousin that is, right?
No.
That's Riff Raff's cousin.
What?
I'm burning up too, Kevin. I said I'm about to burn up too. I didn't bring an undershirt though. I froze yesterday, and I paid for putting. I was freezing yesterday.
Yeah.
Then I put this on, and now I'm dying.
All right. Anything else, Hunter, on the NBA?
No. Nothing.
All right.
Until the NBA hits its All-Star break, which everybody's up in arms about not wanting to have, then I really
Cry
haven't.
me a river.
Then
How
I really
much money
haven't
do
tried.
you make? I go to work every day that I have to work, and I don't make nowhere near what they are. I need to just go to work. Jeez, pay me what they're paying. I'll show up.
Yeah, it's
Stupid.
coming to work things kind of. Yeah. All right. So let's talk real quick. NASCAR. Kyle Busch won the Busch on Tuesday. Busch Clash on Tuesday. The duels are Thursday. We'll have those on WCSL. Sunday's the Daytona 500. And of course, the qualifying and everything won't be till after the duels, and we'll get the field set. So Saturday, I think we'll be able to talk about that maybe, Hunter. But this weekend, NASCAR starts back, first time in 20 years. No Jimmy Johnson. That's going to be the weirdest thing for me is watching a race and not having anybody to pull for. The last few years have been weird anyway, knowing that he doesn't have a chance. A lot of times going into these races, that's weird. I did watch him last weekend in the 24 hours race at Daytona. Did either one of you catch any of that? So it's supercar racing is what he was doing. It's not IndyCar, it was supercar. Do y'all understand what that means?
I understand what supercar
So
is.
Lamborghini.
Yes.
Porsche.
Yes.
He was driving the Cadillac.
I like watching supercar.
Whatever the Cadillac sports car is. It's SRX, SB, whatever those. You know what I'm talking about? That's what he was
What, the
driving.
XLR?
It was a Cadillac something or other. They were the Cadillac team. There was actually two of them. Chip Ganassi created a team for them. It was 4 guys. They drove for 24 hours. They ended up coming second overall. The guy who was in second, Hunter, blew a tire with like 5 laps after racing for 24 hours, and it blew a tire with just a few laps to go. And he was catching the leader. Like it was about to be. That's what they were talking about how like this usually doesn't happen. Is that the leader in the second place is so close?
Yeah.
So he was within 10 seconds, got up to like 5, and then his tire blew. And they just showed everybody that owned the car in the pits, and they were just all like covering their faces up and upset about it. Real quick, let's go through the schedule for a minute. This week is the Daytona 500. Next weekend will be the road course at Daytona, then down to Homestead, Miami, then to Las Vegas, Phoenix, Atlanta, and Hunter, March 28th. The dirt is in Bristol.
Yeah, it's been put all over.
It's already down, ready to go. Dirt track racing at Bristol. That's gonna be fun to watch, no matter how bad Terry wants to bitch about it. All right, Tanner, pull me up over here. We're gonna go through some of the cars. These are just some photos from this weekend. This is not in order. We might do that Saturday. I want to go through the paint schemes. We'll kind of go touch on here. Set all the cars on the track. There's a 23 machine, Hunter. Bubba Wallace, actually, Ty Dillon drove the car for the duels the other night. Bubba hasn't been driving for Toyota, so what they did is they stuck Ty in it for the race to qualify. Basically, he's setting up the car. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Ty will set it up. Ty's setting it up for Bubba Wallace and their team. Sponsored by DoorDash is their main sponsor there on the hood. So I'm just gonna scroll through for our viewers, for the listeners at on the podcast. Obviously, you can't hear it, but cars are going. They've got the names across the windshields too this year. To kind of, I guess you're gonna read that as they go by at 190 miles per hour. But there's Bubba Wallace and the gang, Hunter, in their Team Jordan gear. So Jordan, got their logos out there for the guys.
You love to see it. You love to see it.
Being the Daytona 500 is not really favorite. Zach, you got any? Like, is Chase Elliott the new man in NASCAR?
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did solid
Well,
last
listen,
year. I mean,
if you want to follow how we usually do with sports, where until you beat the man,
yeah,
you can't be the man.
I know.
That's what he did last year.
Denny Hamlin.
That's what he did last year. He beat the guys. He is the reigning champion as of right now. So I think
Denny won it
he's
last
got the
year.
target on his back for all year. Everybody's gunning to make sure that they finish ahead of essentially, we'll just call, he's the young gun still. He still is the young gun. Let's just call it how it is.
I'll pull up the schedule for you guys before we get out of here.
I think, though, I know it's just the Busch, but I think Kyle Busch winning that is a good momentum builder for him as well. So I think we say that every year, though. I think everybody from JGR can compete to win a championship, whether it is Denny or it is Kyle. Hell, even Stenhouse.
Denny Hamlin's favorite, Chase Elliott second. So we're right on with what everybody else would think. Kyle Busch, that's the seventh favorite.
In the 500, I pull for Chaos. I pull for well, actually, I pull for Jimmy to win it. But if someone else wasn't going to win, I didn't want it to be one of the main guys.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't want Kevin Harvick winning the Daytona 500 when he's going to compete for the other 25 races.
They totally disrespected Ryan Newman. They give him 75 to 1 odds. Are they afraid he's going to flame out again?
There's only 42 drivers. How do you have worse than that?
75 to 1 odds. It's horrible.
What? I didn't mean to say Stenhouse. Who did I mean to say that drives for JGR? Used to do the Bass Pro Shop.
Truex.
Truex. I thought Junior. I was just thinking Junior. That's Stenhouse Jr. I was just wanting to say Junior. Martin Truex Jr.
Yeah.
Not
The only
Ricky
person
Stenhouse
that's
Jr.
lower than Ryan Newman with percentages that I know of is Jamie McMurray. That's the only name that I even know on here. Coy LaJoy. They even got Bubba higher than him.
I meant to say something to you, Hunter, about sending a message to Jesse sometime. Talk to him this year.
Definitely.
Today is the 10th. His next race is Saturday. It doesn't say. 5 o'clock is the Xfinity race Saturday. Sunday's 2:30 for the Daytona 500 for everybody trying to keep up. Anything you want to touch on or anything about the NASCAR season, Zach? Right now?
Nope.
It's tough in the offseason to even talk about other than the driver changes and team changes.
The only thing I'd have to say about it is I'm excited to see how the season goes with the addition of the more roval courses and obviously the dirt track whenever that comes up at Bristol.
Yeah.
To me, this is exactly, and I know Terry, the little fuddy-duddy that he is, Terry, I love you, but I know
The only thing he likes is restrictor pro
That's
racing.
it.
That's the only thing he likes.
He likes the so simple part, and I just would love to sit there and look at him and tell him, NASCAR needed this. They needed to take some chances.
Just shows who restrictor plate racing does not. The best driver doesn't win. I mean,
That's why he likes it.
They just don't.
He wants everybody to have a chance to win. I guess based on the draft, but you know,
you got to have a part. I mean, there's so much that goes
it
into
seems
that.
to me the road courses separate the drivers from everybody because you're not going full speed. It's all about your braking. It's all about how you're driving, and it is about acceleration. If you can get the horsepower pumping, but it's more the road courses do.
You got a lot more tactical. You know, you don't have to have a partner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
the Bucks celebrate their Super Bowl win with a boat parade.
Did you
I
see
saw
that Tom Brady threw the Lombardi trophy
He did.
from one boat to the other?
Oh my god!
he threw it to Gronk.
He did.
Oh my god!
Yes.
I did
They
not see
caught
that.
it.
I did
They
not see
caught
that.
it.
And I'm
But-
surprised ain't nobody blistered him because they've already blistered Tom for not wearing a mask.
Oh my God! Yeah, I've seen that.
Everybody's on the boats without masks. I'm
I've
sure
seen
that's
it.
coming next.
I've seen that bullshit. Whatever. No, it's an outdoor venue, which is what I thought.
Tom was walking
that's what
into
I
the
thought
stadium.
the Super Bowl was too.
What?
Did you not see all the people that are raising hell and hullabaloo that Tom Brady wasn't wearing a mask?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was reading something for a second. I missed exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Where?
When he was walking into the Super Bowl.
Oh.
Yeah, it's bullshit. I've seen so many people saying, "Wow, this was your opportunity as a role model to wear a mask." I'm like,
Maybe it was being a role model.
I don't know. How am I supposed to
For not wearing a mask.
Right, how am I supposed to complain to you about possibly giving me something that could give me problems that I have a 99.7% chance of being okay from? But I'm gonna get I don't.
it's outside.
I have more of a chance of hurting my life riding shotgun with my wife than I do.
If you trust your mask so much, and I don't want to wear one, then why are you worried about it if you trust
Listen,
her so much?
it's not just that. It's look, man. The man made a choice. So what? Who cares? I mean, you think he really is worried right now going in to play a football game where none of the players are wearing masks that are on the field? Like, come on now.
Zach,
But they wear it when they get off the field. But they're touching each other on the field. You can't pass it. Like when your
Right, when
defense and offensive linemen are locked up.
When you're tackling each other, face to face, you can't.
And they say if you have contact more than 15 minutes with somebody that's positive, then you have to be
But
quarantined.
isn't the point of them like testing everything before the game is so they probably shouldn't have to wear the mask?
Right.
Anyway? Like,
But
that's
they're
just
wearing them
weird,
anyways
the
on the
contract.
sideline.
I got my mask, Zach. Ready to go.
I particularly like the one where they had somebody wear the Robin mask from Batman and Robin. It was just over his eyes. It's awesome. He said, "I'm wearing my mask."
Yeah, I got mine on. So
I just think all the unnecessary hate towards Tom Brady
Kevin's got
for that
full
one
gator
moment.
instead
It's
of
just
just a hat.
whatever. It's just.
Can
to
you
me, it's
even
just
see in
whatever.
that thing?
yeah, put it on. Go ahead.
Oh, you
can
getting
see really
getting
good.
sick now? No.
COVID.
Never mind.
Passing it
Here,
around.
give it back to me.
Passing it around.
Ollie. No, yeah, you can see perfectly fine. It's actually really clear. I can see perfectly fine. Y'all can't see me, but I can see great in it. I'd probably hit a baseball if I had to. Like, I wouldn't want to bat all the time like that, but I probably could. definitely catch a football. I mean, it's clear. It'd
be funny if
hot
someone
and
actually
aggravating
went and
anything.
did that as a.
Oh, that's my
going up
plan
to
when I go
bat.
into places. I'm going to
Speaking
wear
of
it.
baseball, shout out the Yetis. These are cool, man.
That's not for you to take.
I know. I'm just wearing it. These are cool, man. Get your Yeti stuff.
I thought I
Cleveland
did give
Community
you one
College.
already.
No, I don't have one.
You sure?
Huh.
I thought I gave those some of y'all some of those
Well,
couple of those.
well, I can promise you this.
Maybe I didn't.
It was not me, so I will therefore be claiming them.
Okay. Well, we've got Yeti baseball in just a couple weeks. All right, I think that's it. Marty Schottenheimer passed away this way. Did you see the New York Times?
Stupid. Oh my God. I thought it was the Washington Post that posted that.
Whoever.
Dumb. Dumb. If they could shove a foot in their mouth for a headline that they wrote, that would be the one.
I'm sure
Good
Schottenheimer
Lord.
found. Did you see his act?
I heard it was bad.
It was just like, don't exit off that. You can minimize. Yeah, he said basically Schottenheimer dies at 77, and then it said comma.
Playoff teams withered.
Yeah, he was basically. I can't remember the exact words. He was talking about how his playoff teams always lost. Like that's in the obituary. It's kind of weird.
One of the best regular season coaches of all time. He
Yeah.
had Chiefs record was always good with him.
San Diego
Chargers.
too.
Was it Chargers?
Yeah.
So
I'm pretty sure. I think someone said everywhere he was, they at least had a winning record.
He's like
It just-
14
it
and
just
2.
didn't pan out in the playoffs.
So I don't think Calvin Johnson's coming back, Hunter. He's getting into the cannabis industry.
is Ricky Williams? Is he partnering with Ricky Williams?
He's not coming back, boys.
Dang it. But he did get inducted into the Hall of Fame, first ballot.
There's this next year. I think Peyton's up.
Peyton's in.
Yeah,
Was
Peyton
it
already got
Peyton?
in.
Who's coming up this year that I missed? It's Tony Romo. Romo's up this
They
year.
ain't gonna get in. If they ain't gonna put Philip Rivers in, they ain't gonna put Romo in.
This is Romo's first year, I believe.
People hate him, Zach, for no reason. It's insane.
Well, he got all the Cowboys records. I don't know how you can't put him in.
Listen, you're preaching to the choir on that one.
I mean, did he win a Super Bowl? No. If he had won a Super Bowl, he would be elite.
I 100% agree with you. He's the best passer we ever had.
With not having that flub on he should have never been holding the kick anyway.
That's one thing. Like when someone says that, what about he dropped a field goal? Okay.
Why was he there?
The next question is, show me the highlights of Brady holding field goals.
Yeah, I mean,
Show me that highlight. I just want to see one.
I'm sure he practices that every day at practice. Right.
No, what's funny about it, I could break down that video kind of like we did the Myles Garrett video. And you know who I could blame that play on? The kicker, Grammatica. Grammatica saw Romo stand up, and instead of throwing a block, stood there and got lit up. Like, all he had to do was just kind of could throw any type of block.
Just give him a second. Because he only missed about half yard.
If you'll remember, he got caught from behind, not in front. He got caught from behind. And the guy that caught him is the guy who blew up the kicker who didn't. He just stood there like, my little sister should have been out there blocking.
Yeah.
But Grammatica, he could have broke it. And so another thing about that game, Zach, right before that drive, the Cowboys had the ball on the 1 yard line and needed 99 yards. They threw a screen pass to Terry Glenn, who fumbled on the 2. So if Terry Glenn never fumbles, the drive where Romo they dropped the field goal, that drive would have been a clock wasting drive. So they wouldn't have even been trying to score because they were already up. But Terry Glenn fumbled on that too. The other team scores, the Seahawks go up. And all Terry Glenn, if he had held on the ball, that the extra point would have never happened. And it's just insane. Think about that. And then also Romo, Des Bryant call. He's in the NFC Championship game if that call is made the right call. So those two plays, and he ended up on the bad end of both of them on the calls. And I mean, looking at his stats, yes, he should be in, but I don't think he's going to get it. I really don't. I think there's too many that don't like him, don't like the Cowboys. Drew Pearson finally got in. Yeah, and he needed the Veterans Committee to get in.
That's horrible.
He was on the 1970s All-Decade team. Him and Leroy Butler are the only players on one of the All-Decades teams that are not in the Hall of Fame right now. And I don't know, Leroy, he's in the Darren Woodson range for me. He was pretty good. But as far as that goes, who was the other inductees?
There was 4 that
Charles
they named.
Woodson.
Yep,
He deserved
both Woodsons.
Peyton
It was 2.
Manning.
It was 2 Woodsons.
Yeah, both Woodsons.
What was the other one? Who would have been? Charles Woodson and who? There's another Woodson.
Rod.
Was it?
Yeah, Rod Woodson.
Is he not in yet?
That was who was on the ballot this year.
Really?
The ones I can tell you for sure were Calvin, Peyton, and Charles, because they did videos at least for Peyton and Charles.
I can't find the. I'm trying to find it. 2021, right? 2021 NFL Hall of Fame. All right, here we go. Finalists for the Hall of Fame. Surely, God, this will tell me who made it. No, it won't. It won't. So both Woodsons did get in, Hunter.
John Lynch got in.
Finalists, they have 4 up on this.
It says, no, I'm looking right here. First look at the Pro
25
Football
of them.
Hall of Fame of 2021.
25 finalists.
I'm on their Twitter page.
Yeah, I'm on their regular page, so good.
The finalists is the,
Eight
it goes from
heroes.
25, then it gets cut down to 10.
8 heroes. Alan
No,
Faneca.
15.
Faneca.
Alan Faneca, guard. Alan Faneca, coach Tom Flores, wide receiver Calvin Johnson, John Lynch, Peyton Manning, Bill Nunn, Drew Pearson, and Charles Woodson. So
Right.
Rod Woodson did not get in.
That is amazing. You can't tell me John Lynch is better than Rod Woodson. So, I mean, shut the front door, shut the fuck up, however you want to say that. Zach, am I being overstating that?
No.
I mean, Zach, for real, in our lifetime, when Rod Woodson was playing, you could say Ronnie Lott, Rod Woodson, those are your starting safeties all time. And John Lynch just got in.
I think Rod's in. It was Darren Woodson.
There you go. Darren's already in, isn't he?
He had him as a finalist
Or not.
now. Nope. He missed the finalist cut.
Oh, was it Darren Woodson?
Sorry. I was going to say,
Yeah, Darren. Rod's already in.
Rod was a beast.
Either way,
Darren's good.
let me rephrase that one.
Darren's better than John
Let
Lynch.
me rephrase that one. Zach,
He
is
was
Darren Woodson not better than John Lynch?
He was our
Holy
back
shit.
end quarterback.
John
Back end
Lynch
quarterback.
is ahead of Darren Woodson in the Hall of Fame. That's wild. And Faneca, a lineman. I thought Darren was going to be a easy pick for that, and for them to put John Lynch ahead of him. Like, what does that do? Like, Woodson retired before him, didn't he? Does that
I would
mean
think
does
so.
that mean Darren Woodson's not getting in the Hall of Fame? Like the third or top 5 safety of all time we're talking about, and John Lynch is in there. Like, who the hell? You're naming safety, Zach. When do you get to John Lynch?
Was it Buck?
Yeah, he won with the
so
Bucks.
he was riding with the
He won the
big
Brad
dogs.
Johnson.
He was
Right.
riding with big dogs, Sapp and
I
Derek
was gonna say,
Brooks.
who else was on that team?
Sapp and Brooks in front of him. I mean, we can say the same for what Woodson had in front of him. But
Rondé
still.
Barber was on that team too. So now he's at least the 4th best defender on
Yeah.
that team. And you're putting him in over Darren Woodson? I mean, Woodson, you say Charles Haley and Dion. And they weren't there for all the championships. He was. Like, I don't get it. I didn't know that. Damn it, Hunter, that made me mad. Fucking John Lynch. Like, really?
Well, just try and steam off about it.
I'm gonna put it this way, Hunter. All-time NFL safeties. And I just want to look at the picture.
You know, Ed Reed and Ronnie Lott and
Ronnie Lott's 1, whoever Ken Houston, Jack Christian, Kenny Easley's 4, Ed Reed 6, Palomalu 7. This is you know
I would think Woodson's better than Palomalu.
this is obviously an opinion thing. Eric Berry's in there, Donnie Shell, but yeah, Steve Atwater, Larry, Palomalu, and Ed Reed obviously. Like, Woodson's in that range, and we're talking John fucking Lynch. John fucking Lynch, Hunter. Don't at me. All right. Anything else, guys, across the board?
Nah, I don't have anything else. I've been looking on Twitter. Nothing else has come across the ticker.
Yeah, we seem to end our show, and then big breaking news
Right.
happens.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen anything. Nothing new across the ticker.
John Lynch. Played in Denver, too. Maybe he did win 2. No, he just says Bucks. Doesn't say Denver. What year did Denver win that Super Bowl?
15.
I wasn't in. Rod Woodson, of course, is on here. Steve Atwater, Ronnie Lott, Kenny Easley.
Oh my God, Tom Brady is drunk as a fucking skunk.
Are they doing to Darren Woodson what they do to Emmett? So Darren Woodson won those 3 Super Bowls because of the offensive line too. Is that what we're doing? Darren Woodson was a good safety because of the offensive line in Dallas. I just want to know if that's where we're going with this, because that's where we go for everything. We'll have Yetis baseball March 6th. High school sports the next few weeks, next few months is picking up here on KTC. Of course, Charlotte Hornets basketball, Carolina Panthers, Carolina Tar Heels, Duke basketball, and Clemson basketball will all be on KTC. Thanks for watching, everybody, today on today's Shock Joxx. Tanner, play me some music. And then go down here and turn up the desktop. You got to scroll up, unmute it. Bam, bam, bam. Shock Joxx, episode 11, season 2 today. Zac Mayhue in the house. Thank Cousin Zac. Tanner Halbert, intern Tanner. Thank you as always. We'll see you guys next week, Monday, live. KDC broadcast is Saturday. We're live on Saturdays as well.